And happy Tuesday afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyler Finger. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live. The time right now, 1 o'clock on the dot. We have a lot to get to this afternoon, including some breaking news we are following. I want to check in with our assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza, for a check of what we are working on. And Tanya, I understand Skyfox is above the scene of some threat in Rockdale County. What can you tell us?
That's right, Rockdale County schools, and we actually saw this on the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office Facebook page and on the Conyers Police Facebook page. They had a community alert out saying that Conyers Police and Rockdale are responding to separate bomb threats at Rockdale County High School and Heritage High School. Both schools are currently on lockdown as a precaution. At this time, there is no information indicating either threat is credible. Law enforcement is actively investigating. Please avoid the area. So that the chopper shop right now, that is over Rockdale County High School. Just a few minutes ago, we were over Heritage High School. Michelle here behind me, she has put an email out to schools in that county, and we'll try to get an update as soon as we get it. We'll let you know, Tyler.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a whole lot of action. I can see what appears to be there's a police officer driving through the parking lot there. So obviously they're looking into this. Thankfully, they don't appear to be credible, but they have to take everything like this seriously, especially when a school is involved. Tanya, let's move on to Bartow County now, an officer-involved shooting that happened this morning. What can you tell us out there?
Okay, so Kevin Stewart's out in Bartow County. This morning we got a news tip that there was an officer-involved shooting out in that area over on Joe Frank Harris Parkway. What we do know now, and I actually called and talked to the sheriff earlier where he did confirm there was an officer-involved shooting, but we didn't really get much detail. Since then, they have sent a press release over to Kevin Stewart saying that this all started after an officer or a deputy responded to a McDonald's in the area where someone had pulled a gun on an employee in the drive-through line, but we don't have any information. It's exactly who was shot. So we're trying to get all those details right now. The GBI has taken over this investigation. As soon as they release those details, Kevin will have an update throughout the day. Our web team will post something on our website, and we'll let you know, Tyler, if it happens during this hour.
Yeah, I understand we have some sound that we talked to a witness. Do we have that? Let's listen to it together.
Let's listen to that sound, and then I'll explain the other video that you were just seeing.
I was asleep and I heard shots, and I came out to see what happened. I asked my friend Buddy what happened. He said there was an officer already here, and they just started shooting.
When we was up here, I seen him run from Netaway, from McDonald's, and come around here, and he shot at the police, and the police shot back. And that's when he fell on the steps over there.
How many shots did you see fired?
We counted 5.
So, Tyler, the interviews there were at the motel that was next to the McDonald's. So the crime scene extended over there as well. We will keep you posted on any updates on that story out of Bartow County.
And yeah, certainly interesting story there. I know Kevin will give us the latest on that one throughout the day here on Fox 5 News Live. Let's take people to DeKalb now. An incredibly sad story out there. An 84-year-old was an innocent bystander and was shot out in DeKalb. What can you tell us about this?
Actually, it was actually in Atlanta. It was in Atlanta, okay. Yeah. So yesterday, before I left, we responded to a shooting that was over near Browns Mill Road. There were 2 scenes. One was on Lindsay Drive. The other one was on Browns Mill Road. It was a double shooting. APD held a press conference yesterday, talked about this. There was an innocent bystander, 84-year-old, who was shot. Annie Maps on the story today. She has interviewed the woman's family. They are not releasing her name, but they did say she is doing better. There was also a 21-year-old male shot, and authorities are searching for suspects involved in what they described as a reckless incident. We should have an update on that later from Annie. If APD posts any new press releases, releasing more details or announce any suspects, we'll update that as well. Tyler?
We will look for that and bring anyone updates as we get them here on Fox 5 News Live. And let's transition down to Fayette County. A big trial is set to get underway today for Tiffany Haddish, the DUI trial. This has been a few years in the making. What can you tell us about this one that Doug Evans is covering?
4 years, 4 years, Tyler, 4 years in the making. Yeah. So Tiffany Haddish is finally going to have her day in court for the Fayette County. Judge Thompson is presiding over the case. It starts at 1:30. Doug Evans is inside the courtroom along with our photographer, Michael Moore. Here's what they're telling me right now from inside the courtroom. We are not allowed to live stream this. That's the judge's order. They will keep us posted on any updates. We can't even feed it back right now. We're not allowed to have the equipment that actually feeds it back for us to, monitor it. So until this ends, we won't be able to see the video here. Doug is inside, so he can take notes, and he'll walk out and update us.
And we just got an email, Tanya, from Doug moments ago.
Okay.
So he sent us an email to the entire newsroom saying there's going to be no trial. He's going to be entering a plea, not in court. She is on Zoom. So I understand that Tiffany Haddish not in court. We just got a picture as well. It looks like.
Here's a picture behind me, Tyler. I don't know if you can see it on this computer. Let me expand. Here we go. Look.
Yep,
this is her right here. This is a Zoom. I'm assuming these are the attorneys and the judge right here. So that's the update from inside the courtroom.
And breaking right now. So Doug just sent another note to us from inside the courtroom saying she is pleading guilty to DUI, driving less safe. Other charges are being dismissed. So she is pleading guilty in at least one of the charges here. This is breaking right now.
Yeah, let me let the web team know. Doug just sent an email. All right, so we're going to get that on the website as soon as possible, and Doug will have the story. How exciting, Tyler.
Yeah, certainly, it sounded like this was going to go to trial, and now, as we're on the air here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, we have learned that Tiffany Haddish will be pleading guilty to DUI, driving less safe. That was the charge that we just got the note from Doug Evans, who is inside the courtroom, and the other charges that she was facing are being dismissed. We don't know how long a sentence is going to be in this case, but obviously Doug Evans will be monitoring it throughout the afternoon, and we will bring you updates right here throughout the afternoon, right here on Fox 5 News Live. Tanya Mendoza, thanks so much for joining us. I do appreciate it, and we'll check in with you if there's anything else that's developing this afternoon.
Thank you.
And as we come back into the newsroom, I want to tell you about another story we're monitoring, and I'm just going to update our lower third here since we're kind of switching around. This is a story that is certainly trending for a lot of people right now, and that is the hot car death that we saw just a few weeks ago. I think it was last month that happened in Gwinnett County, right outside of Northside Gwinnett Hospital. You're looking at the victim, in this case, the child who was found dead inside of the hot car. So in just about 20 minutes, the mother charged with second-degree murder for leaving her one-year-old son in a hot car will be in court for a preliminary hearing. After today's hearing, we've learned supporters will be gathering to speak to the media. Deja Coleman's attorney says it was an honest mistake and the charge should be dropped. She's been in jail since July when Lawrenceville police say she dropped off her other two children at daycare and forgot her third child was left in the back seat of her car as she went into work at Northside Gwinnett Hospital. So officers knocked out that car window to get the one-year-old out, but by then it was already too late. If I remember correctly, back when all this happened, that child was in the car for somewhere around 8 hours. We took the news conference live on Fox 5 News Live at 11 o'clock that day. We found out about this. Coleman's attorney says Coleman was sleep deprived and made a huge mistake and a regrettable mistake. She thought she had dropped off all three of her children at daycare. The attorney says Georgia's extremely strict hot car death law only makes things worse. He urges lawmakers to require sensors in cars to help prevent future deaths. We'll obviously be monitoring this, and when that news conference gets underway, we'll try to bring it to you right here on Fox 5 News Live during the 2 and 3 o'clock hour. If it comes during the 1 o'clock hour, we will bring it to you as well. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. The time now almost 1:10 on this Tuesday afternoon. We're going to be chatting with an AJC reporter about a big thing that just happened at a swamp down in South Georgia. We'll have the details next in just 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Tuesday afternoon. The time now is 1:12. You're taking a live look at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You can see the clouds off in the distance, and today certainly a warm day out there. Certainly feels like a summer day here in North Georgia. As we come back into the newsroom, we are getting a check of the forecast with Marquise Mehta. Welcome to you. This is your first time on the air with us here. You're one of our new Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologists. Well, first of all, welcome to Fox 5.
Thank
We're
you.
glad to have you.
For sure. It's great to be back in the state of Georgia. You know, I actually worked here back in 2023 before leaving to Florida. And there's something about the Georgia air, you know, maybe it's the trees that I was missing in the state of Florida, but it feels like home now that I'm back, for sure.
And see, the problem with Central Florida, which is where you worked, it's like there's really no breeze anywhere. Or do you get a breeze out in Central? I feel like anytime I was in Orlando or something, it was always felt a lot warmer than pretty much anywhere else in Florida. And I grew up in South Florida.
Breezes, but it takes a while for them to move from the coast inland, right? But when they do, they often collide, and that's why we have these strong daytime heating thunderstorms. But we're no stranger to that here in the state of Georgia either.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. Fantastic to have another expert in the weather to be able to break it down for all of us here on Fox 5 News Live. Let's talk about the weather today. Obviously, I've been hearing for the last several days from our meteorologist that it is going to be incredibly hot as we progress. It's going to be basically the top of the roller coaster. Eventually, we'll get to go down. But what are we seeing today? What are you tracking?
Well, the heat, it's only the tip of the iceberg. We're only getting hotter as we get ready for the weekend. But so far today, just like clockwork, we've got these showers and storms beginning to bubble up on our Viper radar coming up. But I want to take you guys outside, in which across the state of Georgia, you see those clouds coming in. Tall cumulus clouds at the moment right now, in which we're still tracking the chance for some showers coming up in just a few short moments. But as we take you outside, whether you're at Mercedes-Benz or looking over Truist Park, it's a similar picture, right? So the showers so far today, they have been isolated in variety. And as we zoom on in, we see the showers outside of Rome, Calhoun as well on our live Viper radar. And as we take you in a little bit closer, we can see the showers beginning to affect the temperatures out in that direction as well. So as we take a look at those temps coming up, we are back in the 80s and the 90s across the state of Georgia, in which we're only getting warmer moving throughout the day. Here's a look at the our cyclone port tower cam. This is located off towards the hills here. Lots of green. You see those dark shaded regions. So more showers and storms on tap for us throughout the rest of the afternoon and into the start of the evening. Now, we will be slightly drier to wrap up your work week heading into the weekend, but with the drier conditions comes some more heat. So watching out for that as we move throughout the day. I'm going to take you hour by hour now on our Barron 3K model, in which across the metro you see those showers bubbling up a lot stronger by 4 o'clock, and that's right around the same time we reach those maximum daytime heating temperatures. Notice though, as we continue throughout the evening, showers come to an end, so it's not an all-day long-lasting event in which we'll be watching the rain, but we'll be back again tomorrow, right? Coming in from the north and the east, you see those clouds beginning to build, and then throughout the afternoon and the early evening on Wednesday, a pretty familiar looking story. Issued by the Storm Prediction Center, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather today. That might include some gusty winds here and there, maybe even the chance for some hail with these showers and storms, but similar picture Wednesday and Thursday as we move over time throughout the rest of the work week. So just monitoring what we see all throughout the summer months, those showers here on tap here across the metro. As we move across your next few hours though, coming up, we'll see those temperatures slide back into the low and the mid 90s here across Georgia, in which as we continue across the work week, it's not just the heat, but also the combination of the heats and the humidity, in which those numbers could feel like they're all the way back in the triple digits. Now, we haven't hit the triple digits so far yet on this calendar year, but the feels like temperatures, I tell you what, they get there quite often as we do see the humidity rising. We get a lot of humidity on tap today, which is why we do have that 1 out of 5 risks from the Storm Prediction Center, which we're watching out for those strong and severe thunderstorms. So here's a look at that severe weather outlook. I'll have it pulled up for you. Notice that as you move further north into the Carolinas, then all the way up into the Midwest, that's where that severe risk does become a little bit more enhanced. So just something to watch out for if you have any friends, family members out in that direction. That's where the better chance for any strong showers and storms, maybe even the chance for tornadic developments is going to be. But for us here back at home, just a marginal risk in which we're watching out for those stronger, gustier winds. Even tomorrow, quite similar conditions coming your way. Not the entirety of the state of Georgia on your Wednesday outlook, but still watching just for those isolated showers and pop-up thunderstorms. But as we take you through your 7-day forecast, what we could see is the temperatures increasing as we move over time here. As we head into the weekend coming up, looks like we're going to be back in the mid-90s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Slightly cooler on Monday, but drier nonetheless. That rain coverage is going to drop all the way down to 20%.
And just a quick note, Marquise, we get people questioning us on TikTok. You are not replacing anyone. You are an addition to our team here at Fox 5.
I love that we have the live feed up on TikTok.
We try to interact with our audience here, and so is he replacing Jonathan? No, Jonathan's still going to be here. Jonathan will work the 5, 6, 10, and 11, and then intermittently throughout the evening, if there's any breaking weather news, tornado warnings, things like that, you'll be on the air for us for the 9, the 10, the 11, the 12, possibly the 1, 2, and 3, 4, depending on the day, pretty much all afternoon. So he'll be a familiar face here on the Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock stream, giving you guys all the weather information. So good to have you.
It's so great to be back here in the state of Georgia, and also nice to break the ice, get my first time on air in front of the viewers back at home.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for the update, Marquise. Really appreciate it. And you're looking live at Truist Park, where you can certainly see definitely a lot of clouds out there. And we'll obviously be keeping track of the forecast throughout the afternoon here on Fox 5 News Live at 2 and 3 o'clock. As we continue on here, as we come back into the newsroom, I want to talk about a really cool story that unfolded last month. And it's regarding Georgia's Okefenokee Swamp, which is down in South Georgia. And it has a new place on the world stage, officially designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the recognition comes after years of debate of how to protect the swamp, including a controversial plan to actually mine for titanium near its edge. And Atlanta Journal-Constitution environmental reporter Kann has covered this fight for years. He joins us live this afternoon. Drew, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Well, so let's talk about it. You have obviously been covering this for quite a long time. What does this designation mean for the swamp?
It's a big deal. So I was in Busan, South Korea last month when the Okefenokee was officially added to the World Heritage List. So that gives Georgia its first ever World Heritage Site. For the United States, it's the 27th site to be added to the list, and it's the first natural site that the U.S. has had added in more than 30 years. And World Heritage is a recognition of what they call outstanding universal values. So it's basically places around the world. Think of places like Machu Picchu, Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, just iconic sites that have meaning to, all of humanity, regardless of what country you're from. And the Okefenokee is now part of that prestigious list.
Well, and so for people who have maybe not as familiar with the swamp down there, why is it important enough to be able to get this recognition on the world stage?
Yeah, so it was a long road to get the Okefenokee on the list, and basically the argument that they made was twofold. The biodiversity of the swamp is unparalleled, really, in the southeastern U.S. It's home to hundreds of species, including threatened and endangered ones. Of course, the American alligator is kind of the iconic species that the Okefenokee is known for. And then they also argued that the swamp, unlike larger swamps, including in the U.S., like the Everglades, the Okefenokee has not been disrupted or damaged by development and invasive species and pollution in the way that places like the Everglades have. It's one of the most intact freshwater ecosystems that we have left on the planet. And that pristine condition that it's in, it's really the same as it was when it formed thousands of years ago. And that was a big reason it made it on the list.
So let's talk about one of the things that you've been reporting on, and that was a proposed titanium mine that they were looking to do right near the swamp. And so why were scientists and conservationists so concerned about having something like this?
Yeah, well, for one, the Okefenokee, like we just said, is pristine. It's not been impacted in the way that other wetland ecosystems around the world have by human activity. So there was a grave concern that mining on the swamp's doorstep could disrupt that pristine status. And there were fears that it could disrupt the water balance in the swamp. In the swamp, you may not think of a swamp as a place that is very prone to wildfires, but the Okefenokee is. It's a natural part of the ecosystem. Some of the biggest fires that have ever happened in the state of Georgia have started in the Okefenokee, spilled into surrounding timberlands. And so the fear was that by disrupting the inflow, outflow of water in the swamp. It could make the refuge more prone to fires and forever, damage the ecosystem. And there was a lot of fear among scientists and environmentalists. That project is no more as of last year. The company behind it was bought out, but there's still potential there could be new proposals to mine near the swamp in the future.
So obviously you're the climate and environmental issues reporter over at the HAC, and stuff like coverage like this, and I've read a number of your stories on this, you have to be able to kind of put this down into words that people can understand as they read it. I mean, obviously scientists can speak a lot higher a level than maybe a normal person, like what we're talking about right now. How was it possible for you to be able to make this digestible for people who were just taking in your coverage over the course of the last several years?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's something I've been doing my whole career as a science, climate, environment reporter, is kind of defanging complex topics and breaking them down in such a way that the average reader can understand. I think in the Okefenokee's case, I mean, if you're from Georgia, have ever visited the swamp, you know how special of a place it is. And so that's a big reason I've dedicated so much time and attention to covering this issue, is because what Georgia has in the southeast corner is really one of a kind, not just for the state, for the country, but for the globe. And so, that's really been my goal, is explaining what we have here and why it's so important to protect it.
And you've covered this long before it was international headlines and before this UNESCO World Heritage Site designation came down last month. How important do you think the role of local journalism is, and having a journalist like you continuously covering this and putting it at the forethought of people's minds in making this a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, empirically what it had an impact on the trajectory of the mine or the World Heritage bid. But, as a journalist, I don't take a side on any of those issues. I just want to report the facts. And like I said, the Okefenokee is one of a kind, and protecting it, I think, is a bipartisan issue in the state. And so that was always a key aim of my coverage, is to shine a light on potential threats to the swamp and why it's being considered for this prestigious honor.
Well, Drew Kann, I appreciate your time this afternoon to talk about your reporting and this new designation for the Okefenokee Swamp down in South Georgia. I have never been down there, but the pictures and the video that we've been seeing, breathtaking, and the fact that now this massive site is able to remain what it is, obviously, and have that designation, super nice to be able to have a place in our state that we can go to that is so pristine, as you mentioned, down near the Jacksonville area in South Georgia. Drew Kann, I really appreciate you joining us this afternoon and diving deeper into the subject.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And as we come back into the newsroom, I want to talk about a different story that is catching my eye this afternoon. And this one has to do with Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. If you know me, you know I love anything transportation, airport, trains, and also roads. But this one is about safety at the world's busiest airport. And today, airport experts are showing us how they're working to keep passengers and employees safe. And the One ATL Safety, Security, and Risk Expo is happening right now in College Park with hands-on demonstrations and more. And our Eli Jordan is live with what's being done behind the scenes to keep the airport safe. Eli, good to see you. What is this all about today, and how important is this and what's going on?
Hey, good afternoon, Tyler. Yeah, it's the 10th annual expo, safety expo here, and hosted by Hartsfield-Jackson. They're kind of wrapping up a little bit earlier than expected, but still, nonetheless, is well attended. And this is an opportunity to allow the airport stakeholders, the contractors that work there, all the maintenance crews and things like that, and we've got a lot of contractors and concessions and things like that. Introduce them, get them acquainted, familiarized with their employees. They got tens of thousands of employees at the airport, and so this will help better, facilitate any kind of situation, make it smoother for, like if employees see something going on, they'd better know who to go to, who can, direct and, facilitate this issue a little bit better. And I spoke to Scott Ayers, who is with the Department of Aviation, about the expo, and here's what he has to say.
So this is a testament to where we can collaborate and work together with all the 63,000 employees at the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest and most efficient. And we do that day in, day out, 24/7, 365 days a year. Well, this basically is where airport employees, airlines, ground handling companies, our insurance carrier, and other companies like concessionaires and our stakeholders come together to put on a safety expo for airport employees. And basically it consists of this exhibit hall with all these vendors. We also do safety demos.
And they had, the Atlanta Fire Department was out here giving CPR and AED training. They had Centos out here with their first aid kits and everything, and just all the whole gamut which serves the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, introducing all those contractors to their employees, so the employees and the contractor can have a better flow whenever any situation arises. Tyler?
Eli, thanks so much for a look at what's going on down at the airport today. This Health and Safety Expo. We'll be checking in with you throughout the afternoon. Eli Jordan, thanks so much for joining us from College Park. And as you come back into the newsroom, we still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. The time now is 1:28. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Tuesday afternoon. The time now is 1:30. We're so glad you're here. Remember, this is an interactive news conversation, so we are live streaming on all of our social media platforms, including Fox Local, but you can join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you have any questions you want us to try to get answered, join us in the comments, and we'll try to get it answered for you during this hour. As we continue on, we want to talk about something that is certainly trending for a lot of folks, and it's happening across the country right now. Lots of people are talking about this story, and it has to do with the trial for the person accused of killing Tupac Shakur nearly 30 years ago in Las Vegas. So jury selection is underway for the case, and one expected prosecution witness is speaking out. Reggie Wright Jr., the former head of security for Death Row Records, is denying claims from Duane Keffe D. Davis that Wright was involved in orchestrating Tupac's killing. And TMZ spoke exclusively with Wright, and Michael Babcock from TMZ joins us now live. Michael, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Tyler, thank you so much for having me.
Well, so obviously this is something that a lot of people are talking about. I mean, we posted a clip about Tupac's, this Tupac case last week on our TikTok, and my God, it went viral. A lot of people are talking about this. There's a lot of interest. You guys spoke with Mr. Wright about basically what he's planning to talk about. What did he tell you guys?
And it's really interesting, Tyler, because I wasn't sure, as you find out in the weeks and months leading up to this trial, that somebody's actually going to be facing potential life in prison for the murder of Tupac. But this was, I mean, quite literally 30 years ago that this murder happened in 1996. You don't know what the interest is going to be. You know, people get older, people move on, the case sort of fades out of memory. But it has gotten a ton of attention, and this guy, Reggie White Jr., is one of the star witnesses here. But he is not the man accused or has not been charged with the crime here. But the guy who has been accused of the murder and who is facing the first-degree murder charge is actually pointing the finger at Reggie White Jr., Tyler. So it's an interesting situation. Now, that's Reggie there that we're looking at, and he has somebody who was at one time a Compton police officer who then became a security executive at Death Row Records, and Keefe, Duane Davis, the man who was facing the murder charge, has said that it's actually Reggie White Jr. who was the one who orchestrated the entire murder. Keffe D claims, that's the guy facing the charges, that he had nothing to do with the murder, that he did not shoot Tupac Shakur, certainly did not kill him. So it's a lot of finger pointing going on here. Reggie White Jr. says, bottom line, I had nothing to do with Tupac's murder. I am a prosecution witness, but I am not facing any charges. And he says, yeah, it's actually Keefe that was the one responsible.
Yeah, I listened to a bit of your guys' interview that you guys posted, the exclusive on TMZ.com, and it was an interesting conversation because he said he basically didn't even know who this guy was. He was walking out of a convenience store, grocery store of some sort, and the guy walked up to him and said, "Hey, do you know who I am?" And he's like, "No."
Right. You know, it is very interesting because on one hand, you hear people tell the story, and it's like these guys, Reggie and Keffe D were like thick as thieves, and they were like, good buds. And he says, no, that's not the case. He says, look, I was a police officer, and Keffe D was somebody who was pretty prominent in gangs in the Los Angeles area. So I knew of him, he claims, but he said, yeah, we did not have any sort of relationship, and we certainly didn't conspire to kill Tupac Shakur together. He said that never happened.
I mean, is there any concern for essentially for Reggie White Jr. to testify in this case? Because obviously you were having Keffe D pointing the finger at him, saying he was the one, and then obviously he's saying no. And he, as you heard in the interview, or as I heard in the interview, he had said that he basically had not had any indication from police that he was under investigation.
Yeah, I was surprised, to be honest, Tyler, that he sat down and did the interview with us, that he actually had this conversation, especially given that the trial started yesterday. So this is an active trial. I was surprised that he was so forthcoming and he was so open to talking. I think most people who are a witness in a murder case would probably not choose to talk, but he was an open book. So I think I probably would have concerns, and I would not want to say any more than I had to, but he seems very willing to talk about this, and maybe that right there tells the story, Tyler, that he is telling the truth and he did have nothing to do with this, and he is simply somebody who was, again, head of security for Death Row Records, and he's got some insight into what might have happened here, but absolutely no involvement.
Anything you're going to be looking for during this trial once jury selection wraps up and they actually start the testimony?
Yeah, I think we've heard so much over the years. There has been so much, rumors, innuendo about what happened that night in Las Vegas. It was the night of a Mike Tyson fight, and there have been so many stories told. But I think to get to the truth and to hear in a courtroom what actually happened and hopefully find out who was actually ultimately responsible for Tupac's death, I think many fans thought that this was a trial. This was a case that would never be heard in front of a judge in a courtroom. But here we are, and you hope finally for the Shakur family, after 30 long years, that they can get some justice for themselves.
TMZ going to be following up on this and continuing to keep us updated about what is happening in that Las Vegas courtroom? I mean, you mentioned this earlier, saying that people may have forgotten about this case. I'm 31, so I know who Tupac is, and I was obviously basically, what, a year and a half when this all unfolded.
You were a little baby.
So I obviously didn't watch any of the media coverage, certainly not watching anything news coverage-wise at 1.5 years old, but even I knew about this, and I had been hearing about Tupac's name for what has felt like 2 decades, if not more.
Right. Yeah. And I'll say this, Tyler. I was in, I am 43 now, and I remember being in middle school and being on the bus and hearing all my friends and classmates talk about that this famous rapper had been shot, and how shocking it was to everybody, and then obviously with Notorious B.I.G. being killed, and that was a really tumultuous time with the East Coast, West Coast rap beef and everything that was happening. So I think, look, it was not top of mind for many of Tupac's fans, but when you hear that somebody's on trial, I think then you say, okay, I am instantly now paying attention to this, and it sort of brings you back to the moments after this horrible crime happened. He was so beloved. He was so much more than just a musician. He was a brilliant person, a poet. I mean, Tupac Shakur was really an amazing guy, and I hope that finally this family can have some answers. Not knowing what happened to him had to be horrible all these years for that family, and now that they've got a prospect of finding out the truth, I think that's probably very comforting to everybody.
Michael, we could be talking about this probably all afternoon long, but you have work to do. We have other stories to get to. I really appreciate your time and joining us this afternoon here on Fox 5 News Live to talk about the Tupac case that is unfolding now in Vegas, as the person accused of killing him, we could find out in the next couple of weeks if he's guilty or not. Thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you having me.
Yep. As we come back into the newsroom, we want to get to some breaking news. So we told you at the top of the hour that Tiffany Haddish had pled guilty, and we want to get out to our Doug Evans. He joins us now live in Fayette County. He was inside the courtroom as all of this unfolded this afternoon. And obviously, Doug, we thought this was going to go to trial, but that all changed within the last about half hour. What can you tell us?
Well, it was about as entertaining a DUI hearing as I've ever covered in 40 years in this business. Tiffany Haddish, actress, comedian, didn't disappoint, had a lot to say, and she said it. Said she's never coming back to Georgia. When the judge asked her if she accepted this plea deal, she said, and this was her reaction exactly. She looked at the camera. She was on Zoom. She wasn't here. She looked at her Zoom camera, paused, and then said, sure, giving the judge some indication that she wasn't really happy about pleading guilty. Judge Jason Thompson then asked her, do you want more time with your lawyers? She said, no, I know you want me out of your hair there in Georgia, so I'm ready to move forward, and they did. She did plead guilty to driving under the influence less safe. That's not exactly the same thing as DUI when alcohol is connected. It shows a level of insobriety, that she was not necessarily over the legal limit, but she was not driving safely and was somewhat impaired. All the rest of the charges were dropped. So here is her sentence. She got 1 year probation. Her driver's license in Georgia is suspended. She doesn't know where her driver's license is. Apparently she hasn't had it physically in her hand in quite some time, so there was no license to turn over. She also, no jail time. She was sentenced to 24 hours in jail, but she spent that when she was first arrested, and so they gave her time served on that. I'm trying to think of what else. She has to do she must stay alcohol and drug-free for that year, and she must submit to some drug testing as well, and she must do 40 hours of community service, which she says she's going to do with the LA District Attorney's Office. So in the end, Judge Thompson sentenced her to all of that. He said to her, you're welcome back in Georgia anytime, Ms. Haddish. And then she was about to go on a rant. she was like, she started laughing. She goes, "Oh, no, 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 I am never coming back to Georgia." And just then they cut the newsroom feed. In mid-sentence, they cut the newsroom feed, the Zoom feed. In mid-sentence, they cut the Zoom feed, and the entire courtroom burst out in laughter. Even the judge was laughing because it was just, I don't know, hysterical. Listen, I don't mean to make light of this. She's a comedian. She's an actress. She's very used to playing for the camera. I think that was apparent today. This was the best absolute forum for her in that regard, although she's great at stand-up too, so she could have been here in court and been just as animated, I guess. The other thing that I wanted to say is that, you know, DUI is certainly a very serious matter, but Tiffany Haddish took this courtroom to a different level today in her jocularity and the way that she presented herself. And you know, the judge, Jason Thompson, he's a by-the-book guy, well known here in Fayette County. He's not a stoic by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, at the very end, he said, "I appreciate all the good work that you do in the community. Continue to make good movies because my children really enjoy them." So it was that kind of hearing, Tyler.
I mean, the fact that she made the joke about not coming back to Georgia, I mean, is that what struck you most about what you heard today inside the courtroom? Obviously, I've covered a number of different court cases. I don't think I've ever covered a DUI case per se, because normally it doesn't make news for us here at Fox 5, but obviously Tiffany Haddish is a high-profile figure, and so that's why we were covering it. This obviously lasted 4 years as well. But is that what struck you most during the hearing today, was just kind of the comedic nature of her not wanting to come back to Georgia and the judge laughing by the time the courtroom feed cut out with the Zoom?
Well, the other thing that struck me, Tyler, was just the fatigue on all sides. This is a case, as you said, that's gone on for 4 years. It's over 52 months on the docket here in Fayette County. All the sides wanted to put this to bed. Even Tiffany Haddish herself said she'd spent a lot of money on lawyers and was not interested in continuing that. So I just sensed the fatigue on everyone's side. Judge Thompson even alluded to that when he said that, this was a case that had been well litigated, were his words. And so everyone was anxious just to get it behind them, get this off the docket here in Fayette County, let her get on with her life and career. They went on at length about all the charitable work that she does in the community for foster kids and some other things, and apparently she has a foundation as well. So, and the judge applauded her for all of that and asked her to continue her good works in that regard. She's not done with the system here in Fayette County, though. I suspect there's another Zoom call in her future. In about 6 months, they'll have a status hearing to see how she's doing on probation.
Well, and Doug, I feel like I should mention this. Someone commented on our TikTok chat about how questioning whether DUIs are funny now. Obviously, she's essentially getting a quote-unquote a slap on the wrist by the probation. She served 24 hours in jail. I mean, is this because of her stature of being a comedian and actress that she got what she got, as opposed to maybe someone else could be serving a lot more time for a DUI?
Yeah, and to the person who posted that, I never said that DUI was funny. In fact, I said quite the opposite, that DUI is not funny. Tiffany Haddish herself in court was funny, but the matter is very serious, and I think that we've said that and presented that as well. It's a very serious matter. She was driving under the influence. She was, according to the 911 caller back in 2023, she was asleep behind the wheel at a major intersection in Peachtree City, one of the busiest intersections in all of South Metro Atlanta. When they found her, she was parked in someone's front yard. She failed a field sobriety test in which she couldn't stand and couldn't walk, and even made comments to the officer about having smoked marijuana and that sort of thing. So if your concern is that DUI, that we're presenting DUIs as funny now. In no way are we doing that. Tiffany Haddish herself was lighthearted, as is her nature. This is a hearing that was over Zoom for her part. Her lawyers had absolutely no control whatsoever over her. Maybe if she'd been here in person, they might have gently put an arm on her shoulder or taken her by the arm or whatever to give her that kind of signal. Hey, you're talking a little too much here. Hey, let's dial it back a little bit. But she's in a room by herself with only a Zoom camera, so there was, except for the end where they cut her off in mid-sentence, there was no opportunity for her lawyers to control her. She had a lot to say and apparently will have a lot to say, but she needs to be very careful, though. This is a county, Tyler, that prides itself on criminal justice and its application of criminal justice. Fayette County is well known that if you do the crime here, you will do the time. It's not unusual for people to get 24 hours in jail for a DUI. It's not unusual for people to get their license suspended for a DUI in this county. That's pretty standard. So in terms of a slap on the wrist, I don't know that it was a slap on the wrist.
Okay. And I don't think, reading through the comment, I don't think they were saying that you were making light of it. I think with, obviously, you said the judge bursted out laughing at the end. I think that's probably what they were more referencing, the fact that the courtroom ended up laughing after her comments about not wanting to come back to Georgia.
You have to take the judge's laughter in context, though. The whole hearing was wrapping up, right? And he's thanking them for, getting this over with. He's thanking them for their professionalism. He's thanking them. So it's not while he was sentencing her, I sentence you to whatever, ha, 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 ha. No, he's not doing that.
Yeah.
What he is doing is he's wrapping it all up. He's thanking the lawyers for their professionalism. He's thanking her as well for her demeanor throughout a 4-year process. He's also thanking her for her community service. And then lightheartedly, he throws in something about her movies.
Yeah.
and encourages. And he's a guy, he runs the DUI court here in Fayette County. He encourages people to get their lives together. And we have covered stories with Jason Thompson, both for DUI, the DUI court, in which he's reuniting families with a DUI suspect that has multiple DUIs. And these people are thanking the system for giving back their son, their daughter, their father, or whatever. That's the kind of accountability that Judge Thompson has a reputation for.
Doug Evans, I appreciate your thorough reporting here, telling us play-by-play of what happened in court, because obviously our cameras were not allowed inside other than some pictures you were able to send into the newsroom, and your detail of exactly what happened, the play-by-play. I think we will
have video. We will have video on Fox 5, coming up on Fox 5 Local and on air tonight at 4, 5, and 6.
We just couldn't stream it. We couldn't stream it live. Was that it? Oop, it sounds like thunder. We're going to let you go and get some cover before it starts pouring above your head. Doug Evans, thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock with all the details on the Tiffany Haddish case. Appreciate it. As we come back into the newsroom, we still are going to check in with our Maria Guzman right after this break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Tuesday afternoon. The time now is 1:52. We're so glad you're here. Let's talk about this story that Maria Guzman is covering today. For some kids, the people raising them are not their parents. They are grandparents, aunts, older siblings, or family friends in some cases. Now, a new Cobb County program called Kinrise is giving those kids a place to connect, build confidence, and feel supported. So Maria Guzman, as you can see, joins us now live with all the details on this program. Maria, good to see you.
Hey, Tyler, yes, and this is all being led with Together with Families is here in Marietta, and high school students are able to come here bi-weekly. They're able to gather and really just share their stories and know that they're not alone. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around to show you guys around into this program and also introduce you with two key workers here who connect with the students. I have here Ashley and Nina. You know, I love those vision boards behind you. So just talk to me about the goals that the students have shared as they come here to Kinrise.
Yeah, so I work side by side with the teens, and they share the vision boards. I also did one with them. Everything is positive. They want to be healthy. They want compassion. They want love. They want to be heard. So they put all that down on their vision boards. So this is their work.
And this type of work is very special to you because you know what they're going through. Yes. So talk to me about your story and how you're able to connect with them.
So I'm able to connect with them. I've experienced foster home. I've experienced kinship care, so I know and I've experienced it. I walked in their shoes so that I can relate to them with every step of the way of what they've experienced. Every scenario is different, but I can share different scenarios with them because I've been through it.
And Nina, you also have been able to really connect with the students because you have a similar story. So tell me a little bit about your story and your why. Why be involved in this type of work?
Yes, I'm actually just starting here at Together with Families, and I'm so excited because this work is deeply personal to me. My sister and I were in foster care and later adopted. My birth mother struggled with addiction, poverty, and instability throughout her life, and I met her when I was 21 years old, and I saw instead how much she loved me and how she didn't have the resources to provide for me when she needed to. And so Together with Families, that's what they do is some of these families need someone who's going to connect them with resources and help them make a path forward. That's the kind of support she needed, and that's what Together with Families provides. And so that's why this work is so deeply passionate to me.
That's so sweet. You know, as you guys talk with the students, as you get to know them, how special is it to have a center that they're able to come, just really share their experience and know that they're not alone?
It's very powerful, and they see it, they feel it. Every time they come Tuesdays, they open up, they're very comfortable, you know, I hear them out, and you wouldn't think that they will open up, but me being who I am and them knowing that I've been through the same thing that they have been through, they have that security. So, and it feels so good. It feels good for me as well.
That's awesome. And you guys are looking for mentors, right? People who are willing to come here and spend time with them. Yes. Where can they go? You guys are having an orientation tomorrow, and anyone that's watching is able to come and learn more on how they can be a mentor. So where are they able to go to learn more?
Yes, go to www.together-families.org, and we have information there on orientation. We have another one coming up August 22nd, and we'd love to get you connected.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So again, Tyler, I'll be here all afternoon and just want to show you all these awesome vision boards that the students here have made.
I love it. We'll be checking with you throughout the afternoon. Maria Guzman, thanks so much for joining us here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. And guys, thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1. Don't go anywhere. We still have a lot more news coming up at the top of the hour for Fox 5 News Live at 2 with Ariel Onstadt. But in the meantime, I'm Tyler Fingert. I'm so glad you streamed along with us here. Stick with us. We'll be back at the top of the hour.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being live with us here on your Tuesday afternoon. We've got a lot of news to get to, as we always do, and I'll be hanging out with you for the 2 and 3 o'clock hours. I want to talk about the latest regarding a mother who's in a courtroom today after the death of her child. And we're going to talk as well about a girl who is missing, a 14-year-old who police are asking for your help to find. But let's start in Bartow County, where we understand an officer has been involved in a shooting at a motel in Cartersville. Our Kevin Stewart has been digging into this story and joins us live now. So Kevin, it's great to see you. What can you share with us?
Yeah, we do have some new information that we've been able to confirm since we last spoke at noon. Let's set the scene. This happened at the Grassdale Suites in North Cartersville. It was an extended stay place. And what we've been told here by authorities here at the Sheriff's Office here in Bartow County is that this actually started around the corner behind those apartments, that suites, at a McDonald's. We understand that there was a suspect who showed up at a drive-through, waved the gun at an employee at the drive-through, and that's when deputies responded. That deputy ended up following that suspect over to the suites, and that's where everything unfolded. According to witnesses, at least, that suspect fired once at the deputy. The deputy returned fire. According to the Bartow County coroner, that suspect is now dead. I want you to take a listen to some of the witnesses that we talked to this morning.
I was asleep and I heard shots and I came out to see what happened. I asked my friend Buddy what happened. He said there was an officer already here and they just started shooting.
When we was up here, I seen him run from Netaway, from McDonald's, and come around here, and he shot at the police, and the police shot back. And that's when he fell on the steps over there.
How many shots did you see fired?
We counted 5.
All right. So right now, this happened just before 7 o'clock, the shooting. The call to the McDonald's happened around 6:30. And as of right now, we're still waiting to hear back from the GBI as to try to fill in some of the gaps here. They are now investigating this, as they do typically with all officer-involved shootings. So we're standing by waiting to see if they can provide a little bit more context and find out what happened to that officer. We believe people on the scene insisted that the deputy might have been nicked in the shoulder, but that has not been confirmed here by the Bartow County Sheriff's Office. They're telling us more details will have to come from the GBI, but we have been able to confirm that that suspect is dead and was taken away from the scene by the Bartow County coroner. Ariel?
Kevin, thank you for the update. I'm making sure we get this in our banners now here at the bottom for people who might be watching but not listening to us. So as I understand, and as you mentioned, any new information will come from the GBI because they do take the lead in these sorts of investigations. Interesting to note that you were able to hear from some witnesses who were able to describe what they thought they saw and were pretty insistent, but important to know that we have to wait for that official confirmation to be able to report it. So if people are seeing on social media or different places that an officer was nicked in the shoulder, that's not officially confirmed yet.
Right. That is something that we're still trying to discern here, but I think it's fair to say the hospital, Piedmont Cartersville, is 3 minutes away. We didn't see any activity here. When you come here to the Sheriff's Office, we don't see any signs that an officer may have been injured, something serious, urgent happening. The temperature here doesn't appear to be, so it's possible that deputy was not hurt, was not injured. Certainly, we have to wait for official word coming from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Kevin, thank you. We will see you again this evening with the latest information as you try to get it. So Kevin, appreciate you. We'll let you get back to gathering information. In the meantime, you guys, I want to talk about this situation because a mother has appeared in court today, and we're going to get more information about this from our Ray Urena when he joins us live upcoming here at 3 o'clock. But ultimately, you may remember a Gwinnett mother is facing charges after her young child was found dead in a hot vehicle, her vehicle. She was in court today, the mother, for a preliminary hearing. She's facing second-degree murder charges after her 1-year-old son died. And Deja Coleman is this mother's name. Her child was found unresponsive in the backseat of her vehicle last month. Police say Coleman dropped off her other 2 children at daycare, but forgot her 1-year-old son was still in the car before going to work at Northside Hospital in Gwinnett County. A co-worker later noticed the child in the back seat and called 911. Officers broke a car window in an attempt to reach the child, but he had already died. Coleman told investigators she believed she had dropped all 3 of her children off at daycare. And when we take a look at what people have been saying in this case, her attorneys have argued that the second-degree murder charge should be dismissed, arguing that Coleman was sleep-deprived, working in healthcare, and made a devastating mistake, but ultimately saying that she had been also staying at a domestic violence shelter and is a domestic violence victim, dealing with a lot with her 3 children, and was trying to go to work when all of this unfolded. Supporters have argued that prosecuting Coleman would not bring her son back and could further harm her 2 surviving children without their mother to care for them. We're going to keep you updated as we get new information from this hearing today. And when our Reina joins us live here at 3 o'clock, we'll let you know what unfolded there in the courtroom. In the meantime, I do want to let you know that police are asking for your help to find a missing 14-year-old girl. Take a good look at your screen here. This is Alana Phillips, and police say that they are concerned for her safety. They are asking anyone who has seen her or her vehicle to contact authorities immediately. She's described about 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing roughly 140 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes, and wears glasses. She was last seen in this gray hoodie and blue jeans, and they believe she could be traveling in a burgundy 2004 Chevrolet Tahoe with a Georgia license plate. It reads SHP 5309, and she was last seen around 8 o'clock August 10th in the Shannon area of Georgia. And Rome police say that if you've seen her, give them a call immediately and let them know where you may have seen her, as they are desperately searching for her. In the meantime, I do want to let you know that an elderly woman has been hurt in a double shooting. So this is something we've been following closely. Our Annie Mapp will join us to talk about this here upcoming at 3 o'clock. But I want to let you know what unfolded Monday afternoon near Browns Mill Road Southeast and Lindsay Drive Southeast. An 84-year-old bystander and a 21-year-old man were both hurt, according to Atlanta police. Officers responded to this unfolding situation just after 3:30 Monday afternoon. And they say that they got to the scene and started quickly to investigate and were able to follow 2 related shootings. They had gotten these different calls or these different locations and were trying to understand whether or not that they were connected. Both victims were alert, conscious, and breathing when officers arrived to the scene. Preliminary details indicate that both shooting incidents are related. They determined that the 21-year-old man was shot on Lindsay Drive, while the 84-year-old woman was an innocent bystander and had been hit by a bullet at the Browns Mill Road location. They originally said, Atlanta police did at a news conference, that the woman was 85 years old, but in a press release, they followed up and confirmed her age as 84 years old. They say that this is a reckless incident, that an innocent bystander, an elderly woman, was hurt in all of this. As we continue to get new information, we will let you guys know. And our Annie Mapp's going to join us to talk about this situation. We have Lynn here in our chat on TikTok saying use those flock cameras. I understand, Lynn, you might be saying that about the missing teenager or about this story here. And no doubt, I would imagine police would be using these cameras. If not, why not, right? So as we get new information, we will let you know what police are sharing with us. Burrell, you're saying her vehicle didn't know you could drive at 14. Yeah, legal driving with a license, 16 years old. But, in the country, sometimes kids still know how to drive. And if she took off, ran away from home, police are searching for that 14-year-old girl. So we'll keep you updated as we get any new information. But let's talk about how some inconsistent 911 calls led to an arrest of led to an arrest in a toddler's death. This is a heartbreaking story that we've been covering here at Fox 5 Atlanta because a Marietta man, the one you see on your screen, is still in jail as investigators uncover new details surrounding the death of a 2-year-old child whose body was hidden in a wooded area. Marietta police arrested Darion Keith, the boyfriend of this little boy's mother, after the 2-year-old was found dead Friday night. This little boy's name is Messiah Harris. Authorities say Keith was tasked with watching the toddler when he called 911 to claim Messiah was missing. Darion Keith appeared before a judge, and he's facing charges of making false statements because arriving officers, after hearing that 911 call, arriving officers noticed Keith gave statements that were inconsistent and failed to make sense. Multiple responding agencies searched the area, ultimately finding Messiah's body hours later in the woods directly behind his apartment building. Now, Keith appeared in court over the weekend facing charges of making false statements during his 911 call and to investigators, along with concealing a death. Officers say Keith placed Messiah's body in the woods and covered it using dirt and vegetation. Take a listen to what an investigator in this case had to say.
Caregiver was giving statements that just didn't make sense and weren't consistent. It appeared that his body had been there for quite some time.
Devastating situation. So you got to hear Officer Chuck McPhilmey speak a little bit about the situation. Now, I want to let you know that arriving officers also, as they were able to find Messiah's body, or later on when they were able to find Messiah's body, were able to notice some details about the situation that the medical examiner is now looking into. Specifically, the medical examiner has to complete that autopsy in order for more details as to the official cause of death to be released. I know some of you have been asking about that. We don't have that just yet, but this is an active and ongoing investigation. And as we get the details from the medical examiner, we will let you know right here on Fox Local. A lot of neighbors have been devastated by this situation as well, as you might imagine, and have asked for justice and resolution in this because, as one neighbor shared with us, this little boy did not deserve to die. So we will continue to keep you updated as we get new information. But speaking of flock cameras, some of you were mentioning this. I want to let you know that in light of some of the stories that we've been reporting here recently regarding the misuse of flock camera systems, Atlanta police are now auditing their flock system. They're basically conducting this internal audit to determine whether any employees improperly accessed or misused the flock license plate reader system. APD says that they are reviewing the technologies used to see if officers used it for personal reasons. Now, Flock's automated license plate reader tech uses cameras to capture information about passing vehicles. The system can be used by law enforcement agencies to search for vehicles and track where particular license plates may have been detected. But this audit here in Atlanta comes after more than a dozen law enforcement officers around Georgia have been arrested or fired for allegedly illegally accessing the Flock system. APD has not said whether it's identified any employees suspected of improper use or how long this audit on the department's behalf is expected to take, but we will keep you updated as we get new information from Atlanta police. Keep in mind, according to Flock, nearly 100,000 cameras are deployed in more than 6,000 communities across 49 states. So this has been a big topic of conversation here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom and beyond in many of your communities, as many have been asking about these license plate reader systems, whether or not they are being used properly. Now Atlanta police doing their own audit. So we will keep you updated. In the meantime, let's talk about a Georgia congresswoman who wants to ban ICE from using TSA data. We're talking about Congresswoman Nikema Williams, and our Deidre Dukes has been digging into this piece of legislation that Congresswoman Williams has joined on to. Deidre, great to see you. What can you share with us this afternoon?
That's right. Congresswoman Nikema Williams has signed on to this legislation co-sponsoring this bill that would ban ICE and the TSA from sharing information, sharing data that right now gives them the opportunity, the ability to check your immigration status as you're traveling through U.S. airports. So let's say, for instance, Ariel, I was not a legal citizen of the U.S., but I had filed the necessary paperwork, was going through the process to be able to remain in this country legally, had done everything right, but not all the I's were dotted and the T's crossed. And so I was not officially at that point where I could legally remain in the U.S. All that paperwork hadn't been completed. Well, if I was traveling through a U.S. airport and that alert came through due to the information being shared by the TSA and ICE, that would mean that right now, actually, and it is being done, ICE can pull and detain me and would be able to detain me legally. And that is what's going on, even though an immigration attorney that we talked to said that for the past 50 years or so, that has not been the case, that those who are doing things correctly, they do have that paperwork in place. They are trying to remain here in this country legally and have gone through the correct processes to do so. In the past, this hasn't been an issue, but now we're being told under the Trump administration, those who are criticizing this move say it is being done. They maintain to make those quotas that ICE has been tasked with making. Now those people who are not here legally, even though they're going through the process to be here legally, they are being detained. And so we did talk to an attorney who expressed his concerns about that, and he did tell me that he actually has 4 clients that he's representing right now who traveled through U.S. airports, including one right here at Hartsfield Jackson, and have been detained as a result. At least one of those individuals, he said, does remain in custody. And here's what he told us today.
What's happening now is ICE is under tremendous pressure to arrest as many people as possible to meet daily quotas from the White House. The simplest way to meet this quota is not to go on the street and randomly look for people. It's to have people come to you. Well, what easier place is there than the United States airports? Because when you go to the airport and book a flight, whether people know it or not, your data is shared with the government. TSA and ICE have an agreement to share information about passengers that book plane flights through every airport in the United States and every airline. So when somebody passes TSA, their computer alerts ICE, who is at the airport, saying Bob Jones is boarding a flight to Tucson at 4 o'clock. He just passed TSA checkpoint. This is his gate. So ICE agents go to the gate. They have a picture of him. They have apparently at least a couple of times talked to the gate agent and said, can you hold this person out by offering them an upgrade? We know that happened at least once this week. So they're the last person to board, and then ICE arrests them in the jetway. And that's been happening 20 to 40 times every day for the last 3 weeks around the United States.
So what should you do, Ariel, if you find yourself being one of these individuals who kind of is in this legal limbo as a result of what's going on right now? Mr. Cook did say that if you have lawful status in the U.S., you're a resident, or you have a visa, you need to carry that documentation with you. He said if you have a pending visa extension, do not travel. If you do not have lawful status, do not travel. And he says if you have a pending asylum application with a work permit, do not travel. That is his advice at this point, but certainly very concerning. And again, that is why you have lawmakers like Congresswoman Nikema Williams, who introduced this legislation that would prohibit these 2 federal agencies, ICE and the TSA, from working together to flag those passengers, Ariel.
Deidre, I'm glad you were able to speak with an immigration attorney and get his perspective about what he's seen with his clients. I understand, and we were even doing last week, that military members are also now facing their spouses being removed, even though those spouses might be trying to seek legal status or have that legal status but are not citizens. So I'm sure that Mr. Cuck is very busy. Mr. Charles Cuck is very busy. And as we've kind of seen this, it's interesting to get his perspective on how to handle the situation moving forward, because I know that's everyone's big question is, what should I do?
That's right, and a lot of concern out there, several different areas as it pertains to whatever people's, individual situations are out there. Definitely wanting to stay on top of the latest information because, as we've seen, it's very fluid and it can change literally from day to day. So it's certainly something of grave concern for those who are caught up in it, and certainly something that they're trying to stay on top of.
Deidre, thanks for joining us live with this update. We will stay tuned to you as you join us again later this evening and as this piece of legislation moves through Congress. So Deidre Dukes, thank you. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, speaking of, let's talk about the latest numbers from SNAP. If you are receiving SNAP but no longer eligible, let's talk about why. Because at this point, we understand new data from the USDA shows about 500,000 fewer Georgians are receiving SNAP benefits this year compared to last year. 5.3 million fewer people nationwide. New work requirements were implemented for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program on February 1st. And people who receive benefits need to work, volunteer, or participate in job training for at least 80 hours a month. Previously, some adults with children were exempt. These new work requirements were implemented February 1st, like I mentioned, but there were also exemptions for homeless people, veterans, and young adults aging out of foster care. All of those exemptions have now been taken away. The Congressional Budget Office predicts it will cut $186 billion in SNAP funding over the next 10 years. In case you missed it, President Trump also has changed or made some changes to the childhood vaccine recommendations. The White House announced this executive order yesterday, and President Trump signed this new executive order that would essentially reduce the number of immunizations recommended by the federal government while splitting up one commonly received combination shot into separate visits. Basically, this means that the combined MMR vaccine, which covers measles, mumps, and rubella, has been around since 1971 as a 3-in-1 shot. President Trump now wants to see that shot broken up and not all in one. He says that this is not healthy for America's kids altogether, but the U.S. currently doesn't offer separate vaccinations for MMR. Companies would have to start clinical trials to make that a reality because this vaccine does not currently exist. The president cited what the administration refers to as the gold standard science and suggested, without evidence, I will add, that splitting up the shots could help lower the risk of autism. The president says that he wants to find out what is going on with this connection, he says, between autism and vaccinations. And I'd like to let you take a listen to some of what the president shared yesterday during his executive order signing.
In addition, this executive order directs the Attorney General to advance legal challenges against states that violate children's rights to religious or medical vaccination exemptions for the exemptions. Other countries with high vaccination rates without mandates for school. Now, what we do is other countries have very high vaccination rates, and they have not had, and they don't have, without mandates for school. Parents can still choose to give their children all of the vaccinations if they wish. It's up to the parents. We're making recommendations that are strong, but it's up to the parents if they wish, and they will be covered by insurance. However, this updated recommendation finally aligns the United States with other advanced and developed nations around the world. More importantly, it aligns us with common sense and knowledge. So at year one, you should have 5 separate visits for vaccines rather than giving them all in the same day. Very importantly, vaccinations for hepatitis B, COVID-19, and influenza, among others, are no longer recommended for all children.
Now, keep in mind, according to the CDC, no published scientific evidence shows any benefit in separating the combination of the MMR vaccine into 3 individual shots. And the United States is currently in the midst of its largest measles outbreak in 35 years. Doctors say the vaccine does offer essential protection for a child's developing immune system. And the president's order is ultimately a recommendation. States would ultimately have the final say on vaccine requirements. So we will keep you updated as this moves forward. In the meantime, you guys, I do want to let you know that we are monitoring a news conference that is set to begin here soon regarding the death of that child that I mentioned here at the start of 2 o'clock. The mother, Deja Coleman, charged in her little child's death after that child died in a hot car, has appeared before a courtroom today, I do believe, and you can see her attorney and other advocates getting ready to come up to the podium. We will take this to you, we'll bring this to you live as soon as it begins, but in the meantime, I'll continue here talking about some other stories that we're following. It looks like we are getting suited up and potentially ready here to start in just a little bit. I want to let you know what's going on because we understand the attorney did waive Deja Coleman's preliminary hearing today, but they are setting up for this news conference outside of the jail now where Ms. Coleman is being held. So as soon as we see this start to begin, we will bring this to you live. Could happen here in the next few minutes, could happen here in a little bit longer period of time. They could be waiting on someone. So in the meantime, let's continue. It looks like he might actually be coming up to the podium, but at the same time, he is waiting. So as soon as I see him, we will bring that to you live. But let's see here. I'm watching. We can bring that back again full. I just don't want to move away and then we end up missing. So it looks like he's getting ready. All right, let's listen in and see if her attorney is about to share some information with us.
In the heat, in the rain, in front of razor wire, for a mother who should be at home grieving for her children, her son, with her children. Instead, she's been arrested from the moment this happened, taken to the jail behind me where she's been kept without a bond because of our laws. She's been arrested and incarcerated without anyone looking at the science. How do you solve a problem that befuddles our entire country without the science, without looking at the science? When I have a scientific question, I ask a scientist. The good thing is, we've got the #1 scientist in the world here on this issue. Let's hear from him, Dr. Diamond.
Thank you, Tom, for inviting me. Thank everyone here for being here about Deja. I'm a professor of neuroscience at the University of South Florida. I've been studying the brain and memory for 45 years. But I'll tell you, I wasn't prepared 20 years ago when someone in the media contacted me and said, as a memory expert, can you explain how it is parents are forgetting children in cars? These children die, and the parents are charged with murder. I will admit, as a memory expert, I had studied diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, but I'd never heard of a parent forgetting a child in a car. My knee-jerk reaction, frankly, was to be judgmental. But as a scientist and as a parent, I was curious. I needed to know, how does this happen? So I started doing research, and I found the group kidsincars.org, and I learned that hundreds of children have died as a result of being forgotten in cars. And so I decided to make this a part of my career. I interviewed dozens of parents who had forgotten children in cars. And what I realized was these are loving, attentive parents who are traumatized by forgetting their children. So I needed to understand how it was possible. What were the circumstances in which they could forget their children in the cars? And what I've come to conclude is that this is the result of a catastrophic clash of different brain memory systems that reliably leads to these children being forgotten in cars. And so one brain memory system centered on the frontal cortex allows us to make plans in the future. We decide we want to do something after this press conference, give someone a call. We have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. We want to stop at the store on the way home. We make this plan, which is called prospective memory. We use our frontal cortex, but that memory is very fragile. It's easily lost. We have a second brain memory system which allows us to do habits, to do things automatically. It's our autopilot system. It allows us to go from home to work automatically without thinking about each turn. And this is a powerful autopilot system that enables us to do things, to make the turns, to go to work without any memory of the experience. We do this automatically. So we have these two independent brain memory systems. And so what's really important to understand is that these brain memory systems compete against each other. The habit brain memory system can suppress our prospective memory, our frontal cortex. And so when drivers lose awareness of the children in their cars, what's happening is that autopilot system is taking over. The driver, the parent or the caretaker, is now having a dominance of their autopilot system. And that's why they lose awareness, because our frontal cortex actively gets suppressed by our autopilot system. And so what makes it more likely then that our autopilot system will take over and suppress our frontal cortex? Stress and sleep deprivation. Two factors that are very important in this case. And so the stress and sleep deprivation targets our prospective memory, our plan to do something in the future. And it inhibits our frontal cortex and makes it more likely we will do something out of habit. And I'll give you an example. Older cars used to have a warning, did not have a warning when you had your headlights on. You arrive at your destination, and if you don't shut the headlights off, what happens? You end up with a dead battery. So we've got technology now to make sure that the headlights go off when you arrive at your destination, because you don't want to have a dead battery. And so what's so important is we now have to have technology to be able to enable us so that we can be warned that there is a child in the back seat when our autopilot system has taken away our awareness of that child in the back seat. The brain is a magnificent but terribly flawed machine. Stress and sleep deprivation can take its toll, specifically on our prospective memory. What happened to Deja Coleman and her son Daniel has happened to hundreds of other parents around the world. It's important to recognize that this fatal memory error is a result of a flaw in brain functioning, not a flaw in the love a parent has for a child. When a parent unknowingly and unintentionally leaves a child in a car, it is a tragedy. It represents a flaw in brain functioning. It is a public issue, but it is not a crime. I thank you.
It's warm.
Okay. Okay, we want to take questions. Oh, my name is David Diamond. D-A-V-I-D-D-I-A-M-O-N-D from the University of South Florida. Are there any questions?
What were you going to talk about today? Basically,
You mean at the hearing? I would have, as a result of understanding Deja's routine, which I've learned a little bit about, I would have explained how her autopilot system became activated as a result of the distractions of that morning, but also the ongoing extreme stress and sleep deprivation that she had experienced. And I would have emphasized how this has happened actually over 1,000 times to different parents and caretakers. I would have also emphasized that this is not something in which there was any intention to leave the child in a car. And so for that reason, again, I would emphasize it's a tragedy, but it is by definition not a crime. There is a very low technology way that I explain to people. First of all,
You're
when people take
listening in
surveys,
as David Diamond from the University of South Florida talks about the tragedy of Deja Coleman and how her baby, as you might remember, Daniel, was left in the back seat of her car. Now, this mom was at a domestic violence shelter. She was going to work at Northside Hospital, where she ultimately forgot that her child was in the back seat of her car. It was discovered by another employee, and at that point, the 1-year-old had already passed away. advocates in this situation are saying that charging Deja Coleman and taking her away from her 2 other children does not solve the current problem at hand, nor does it solve the death of her son. They say that she's been a good mom and is devastated at the loss of her child. This is something that we'll continue to keep you updated on as it moves forward. We wanted to bring this news conference to you live as her attorney held it, so you can understand what was happening today. There was a preliminary hearing for Ms. Coleman, and we will keep you updated as this story moves forward. In the meantime, here coming up, we are going to bring you back for a check of your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being live with us here in the 2 o'clock hour. Let's talk about the latest in Colombia. The earthquake has devastated the region, and you can see terrifying video as people were huddling for safety when that earthquake started. We understand more than 100 people have now died after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the country. We understand the United States is now trying to help with some of the rescue efforts. This happened to the western part of Colombia, and this specifically in Cali is the city where this happened. It was felt as far away as some parts of Panama and even Ecuador. Colombia's president has laid out his plan for the country's next steps, saying that they are working to get people rescued. Army engineers deploying to Cali, which is one of the hardest hit cities, and aid is in the works here in the States. The State Department's announcing a helping hand. In a post to social media, the department said in part, quote, the Trump administration is committing $15.5 million in funding for emergency shelter, food protection, and earthquake assessments. This earthquake caused major damage to several cities and also parts of neighboring Ecuador and Panama, like I mentioned. Strongest earthquake recorded in the 21st century. So we will continue to keep you updated as rescue efforts are underway. Let's bring you back out here live in studio. We have a new face with us, Marquise. It is great to see you. Marquise, say your last name for us so everyone knows.
Meda. It's spelled M-E-D-A.
Love
Long
it.
E though, but yes.
Okay, so Marquise, new meteorologist. Love having you on the team. And you are doing weather for us today, so I'm excited to see what the forecast is looking like because I know it's hot. And you're used to that because you're from Florida, right? right?
Yeah, I feel like the heat is pretty similar, right? We got
Yeah.
the mugginess in the air across the state of Florida. It's here in Georgia, too. Maybe a higher pollen count throughout the state of Georgia, but, give and take. Right?
Yes, yes. Well, we have about a minute or so, a little abbreviated because of our news conference. So go through things with us for the next minute, if you can, Marquise, so we know what to expect here leading up to the rest of the week.
Yeah, not a problem. Big story for today, of course, has been the heat, but also as we move throughout the work week, we'll see that humidity playing its role in the forecast as well. So one of the things that we're watching out for is going to be the heat index today.
And I want to say, I understand right now, I get that radar has not loaded, but I'm looking at this computer and it looks like it's loading some of the frames. So it might be just taking a little bit for us to see all of them. But I know that as we bring it up here on this computer, it should load in just a little bit.
Yeah, got to get them up momentarily, right?
Yes, I know. It's been a little slow for us. So if you guys just hang with us, I'm watching it over here on Marquise's computer. Okay, so there we go.
There it is.
Perfect. All right.
Right on cue.
As you were saying.
Got the clouds bubbling up here across Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but ultimately, as I was mentioning, the big picture for today will call for the heat index to rise into the triple digits. Temperatures haven't hit the triple digits so far this year, but we're coming close, especially as we get ready for the weekend. So we'll be a little bit drier towards the end of the work week, and that does lend its way towards some warmer temperatures. It's going to take you out to our live Viper radar, in which we do have a flood advisory just across the state border into Cherokee County in Alabama. We're still watching those heavy showers come down at a rate of about 2 inches per hour. Further towards the south into Macon, Georgia, new showers entering your neck of the woods, much heavier showers across Warner Robins. So we could possibly see some flood advisories here today across the beautiful state of Georgia. But as I mentioned, that heat index is really creeping up in the areas in which we haven't seen the showers. So 102 in Covington, it looks like 106 in Edenton, in which we're still watching out for the humidity today and throughout the rest of the work week. The heat index, of course, is going to be a major issue. Your 7-day forecast will show those temperatures climbing as we move throughout the work week, all the way into the middle of the 90s. So a lot of heat's coming your way here across the beautiful state of Georgia, in which those numbers do show 96-degree conditions on Sunday. So we're rounding out the work week, with rounding out the weekend, better yet, with that 30% coverage of showers and storms.
Marquise, we know we've been warned by you guys. Triple heat index. Oh my goodness. I think I'm already beginning to feel it. I get it's going to get worse as the week goes on, but definitely something that we'll continue to monitor. So Marquise, thank you so much. Welcome to the team. Look forward to chatting with you again. You guys give Marquise a warm welcome. TikTok, YouTube, as you're chatting with us. Marquise is now part of the community, so thank you. Guys, let's continue on here. I'm going to zoom in and let Marquise off the hook. There we go. And let's continue and bring in our Maria Guzman, who's speaking about a new program today that helps support teens as they live with relatives and friends. Their home situation hasn't permitted them to live with their immediate family, I understand, Maria, and now this is a way to give them support so they can avoid foster care.
In the public record.
Hey, Maria, I hate to cut you off. I am not hearing you, and I'm looking off to my right, and I actually don't see levels for your microphone, so not sure if it just disconnected. We're going to take a quick break. We'll bring you back in, and we will talk with you in just a little bit. So, guys, stay tuned. We're going to chat with Maria in just a second. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being live with us. We are talking about a program that helps support teens as they avoid foster care and live with people who aren't their immediate family members. Our Maria Guzman is introducing us to Kinrise. Maria, we can hear you. Great to see you. Share a little bit about what's going on this afternoon.
Hey, Ariel. Yeah, so at Kinrise here, high school students are able to come bi-weekly and really just get any help and share what they're going through, right? These are kids who are being raised by either a grandpa or a grandmother or even just an aunt or an uncle or relative, really. And right now it's really special because they're open every day, so families here are also able to come here and receive any help because the goal is to keep families together, especially families in need. And what's really neat also about Kinrise is that the high school students help design this program, so they're able to share what they need, right? So the program really helps them in that case. And I got the chance to speak with two of the high school students who come to this program, so let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
So this is our skill book. Everyone gets to decorate their front cover. I kind of went minimalistic, but it basically just has the different skills that we'll need in life. Like this is our skill passport. The first thing, it sets our goals and stuff. And then we do belonging and identifying. So that's basically us trying to figure out who we are as a person and who we're going to be in the world when we become adults. My grandma's raising me and my sisters, and I've been living with my grandma for almost 5 years. At first it was kind of challenging because I knew my grandma, but I wasn't really around the family a lot. So there was a period of time where we had to get to know each other and adjust. So that was a little bit complicated, but now we know each other and we're comfortable, so now it's chill. When you're talking to other kids, they might not fully understand the type of things you've been through or how you handle things, because in certain situations you have to mature faster than everybody else around your age. So being with other people that have experienced something similar, it's really refreshing.
I've been coming to Kinrise for a while. It's a pretty cool program. We do a lot of great things. And we just hope that this can be like a huge thing for everybody. When I was separated, I lived with my Nana, my grandma, for a while because my mom was dealing with defects at the time, so she had to get back on her feet. And it was pretty cool, but I was, still worried because I didn't really know if my mom can make it, but she did, and now we're here. What's my favorite thing is the mindset that everybody has. Like, we all focus on one goal, just to help others that's going through the same trauma and stuff.
And right now they're helping about 8 high school students, and they're expecting to increase that up to 20 within a month. So it really shows the need here in Cobb County, Ariel.
Maria, I think it's remarkable how quickly this program has grown where it started, and the fact that more and more kids are wanting to get involved. So thanks for bringing this to our attention. We'll see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. Well, let's talk about how the creator economy is booming here in North Georgia. So much so that studios have started to pop up to accommodate these creators. Our Chris Rosenthal is showing us one studio from Roswell. Chris, great to see you. We have about 3 minutes or so give us the tour.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm at U42 Studios, and I am in a jail. Well, not really in a jail. This is just one of many of the studios that they have here. They've got a mock Oval Office, for example. That's a popular one. And they've got, if you turn around here, we have an entire city that they built here in Roswell at U42 Studios. And I have got Ashley here, the president, and give us a little bit of a tour here. Tell me a little about this. We got about 3 minutes here.
Yeah,
so tell
absolutely.
me, what is this place here?
So this honestly is a content creation complex where people can shoot any type of content. It can be long form, short form,
and anything in between. And honestly, it allows content creators of any type to really kind of take advantage of what Hollywood uses and really kind of at a lower budget item and create content that can really rival anything that you would see in the theater. Yeah, this makes it really accessible. We got barber shops, we have real functional restaurants here. Yep, absolutely. And then you guys also have event spaces as well. Yeah, we've got 2 event spaces. We've got our theater that does everything from obviously improv to comedy to music, and then we've got our event space down at the other end that is called the Reserve, where we do everything from coming up. We've got a Halloween haunted house that'll be in there. We've got a Holly Jolly marketplace for Christmas, and then we also have we'll be doing a New Year's Eve Great Gatsby event as well. Awesome, lots of cool stuff coming up here. Absolutely. And then of course, and real quick, I mean, even the restaurants. These are real restaurants, but you can also use them as a set, huh? Absolutely, yes. This is our pizzeria that has really good thin crust Chicago-style pizza, but it can also be a set that can be used in and out of our hours of operation. Courthouse, everything else here. Yeah, you know, the creator economy, Goldman Sachs estimates about $480 billion it'll be worth in 2027, and a little bit of that right here, little movie set inside this U42 studios here in Roswell.
Incredible, Chris, just to see this up close and in person, and to think that, you know, people are making movies with their phones just from something that looks like this and using this as their backdrop. So looking forward to an extended conversation here upcoming at 3 o'clock. In the meantime, you guys, coming up next, we are going to chat about a safety expo that happened regarding Atlanta's airport, how this is exploring new technology to help keep you safe as you fly. We'll check in coming up. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live here with us. Safety Expo explored some new technology for Atlanta's airport and ways to help keep travelers and airport employees safe. Our Eli Jordan went to go check it out and joins us live. Eli, what did you learn?
Hey, good afternoon, Ariel. Yeah, it's the 10th annual Operation Safety and Security and Risk Expo here at the Georgia International Convention Center. Now, a lot of stakeholders, contractors that already exist at the airport were here, had their booths on display, demonstrating to the tens of thousands of employees at the airport to better give, more cohesive action and better communication whenever a situation may arise. Now, they had one interesting tidbit where they had the drone crew out here. It's relatively new, and it is the airside operations. And now they had their drone demonstration out here, and it came out in 2024. And I spoke to Darren Barth, who is the director of airside operations, and this is what he had to say about their drone operations.
Our normal job during the day is inspecting the airfield, and this just gives us another way, another perspective to see the airfield, to see any hazards that might be out there, to track changes over time, to document construction projects. We do regular documentation of construction projects, and we can show the change over time and the progress on each of those. We can map things like our pavement, very high resolution mapping, so we can see the condition of the pavement, we can see the conditions of the markings on the airfield and rubber buildup and things of that nature. There's a lot of safeguards in place, and certainly there's a lot of approvals that we need to get through the FAA to do that, but we do have an agreement with the FAA, and we regularly fly probably several times a week under that agreement. Of course, the tower has the opportunity to approve or deny the request, but in the areas that we've designated, we make sure that we've got a safety buffer built in.
And drones are relatively new to the scene. How long have you guys had this drone out here now?
So we've been flying drones at Hartsfield since 2024, the beginning of 2024, so about 2.5 years now.
And so are you guys looking to expand? Are there job opportunities, or just tell me about the department, I guess?
One of the great things about what we've done over the last couple of years is we've been given the opportunity to explore what we can do with drones and the best use cases. So what we've been doing is trying a number of different things, seeing what we want to prioritize. For us, this is not a full-time job. It's in addition to our normal daily duties.
And that, that's part of just what's been happening here at the 10th Annual Operations Safety, Security, and Risk Expo. Ariel?
Awesome, Eli. Thanks for introducing us to this and the conversation around safety at the airport. And also interesting just to see how different people do their jobs and how all of these different pieces come together to make the incredible puzzle that is Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. So, Eli, thanks. We'll see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. In the meantime, you guys, thanks so much for being live with us here at 2. I will be with you again for 3 o'clock. I'm going to look ahead and tell you what some stories are that we're working on for 3. We are going to speak to our Ray about that mother who is facing charges in her son's death. We just wrapped up a news conference that is still ongoing with the attorneys and some advocates in that case. You may remember her child died in a hot car. After that, we're going to speak about an elderly woman who was struck by gunfire. She was an innocent bystander, and Annie Mapp's going to join us with the latest on what her family is sharing with us. So we have a lot of stories to come. Stay tuned. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live with us here on your Tuesday afternoon. It is great to see you. We've got a lot of news to get to. We're going to get you the latest on a situation regarding some advocates talking about the case of Deja Coleman, the mother whose one-year-old child was found dead in her car because of the heat and being left inside of that vehicle. Advocates have held a news conference today. We're going to bring you the latest on that. But in the meantime, I'd like to start in Bartow County, where we understand an officer has been involved at a shooting at a motel. And at this point, we also understand that the suspect involved in this situation is dead. So let's go through what we know so far, because we just spoke with our Kevin Stewart and got some new information. We understand a Bartow County deputy fired their weapon Tuesday morning after responding to a report of a person pulling a gun on an employee at a McDonald's. Now, this was on Joe Frank Harris Parkway, that McDonald's. Deputies responded around 6:30 this morning to the McDonald's and Cartersville. A deputy fired their weapon during the incident, prompting the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to take over. Police tape was placed around the nearby Grassdale Suites, located right next to the McDonald's. So it was that motel where we originally believed things unfolded. Now, authorities have not confirmed further details. Witnesses have described to us what they saw. A woman was staying at that motel and says that she was asleep when she heard gunshots fired. She came down to see what had happened and asked her friend, and she said that there was a shooting, and they say that they saw another witness. Michael Carpenter says that he saw a person went into McDonald's and was waving a gun around, and an officer responded. Carpenter says he heard the officer tell the man to put his hands up, but the man instead pulled out a gun and the two exchanged shots. Now, Carpenter claims both the officer and the man were hurt by gunfire. We have not confirmed whether or not that officer was struck by gunfire. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is looking into this, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation hopefully will be able to update us further as to the officer's status. But we will continue to keep you updated as we get any new details here into the newsroom. In the meantime, I do also want to let you know that police in Rome are asking for your help to find a missing 14-year-old girl. You see her now live on your screen. This is 14-year-old Alana Phillips. Police in Rome believe that they are concerned for her safety. They are asking anyone with any information to contact them immediately. You can see her vehicle there on the right side. They describe her as 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing roughly 140 pounds. They say she has brown hair, blue eyes, and wears glasses. She was last seen wearing a gray hoodie and blue jeans, and police believe she could be traveling in a burgundy 2004 Chevrolet Tahoe with the Georgia license plate SHP 5309. And the vehicle was last seen around 8 this morning, or 8 the morning of August 10th, in the Shannon area of Georgia. If you see her or her vehicle, give 911 a call immediately, as they are looking for her. Now let's talk about the latest regarding this situation with the toddler's death. Absolutely heartbreaking. Police believe that the mother's boyfriend is responsible. You can see his photo here on the screen. Let's talk about it, because this Marietta man is still in jail as investigators are trying to uncover new details surrounding the death of 2-year-old Messiah Harris. His body was discovered in a wooden area, and Marietta police have arrested Darion Keith. He's the boyfriend of Messiah Harris's mother, and that 2-year-old boy was found dead Friday night. Authorities say Keith was tasked with watching the toddler when he called 911 to claim that Messiah was missing. And arriving officers noticed Keith gave statements that were inconsistent and failed to make sense. Multiple responding agencies searched the areas and found Messiah's body hours later in the woods directly behind his apartment building. Take a listen to what one of the officers from the Marietta Police Department had to say about the situation.
Statements that just didn't make sense and weren't consistent. It appeared that his body had been there for quite some time.
Now, police have not released Messiah's exact cause of death as the medical examiner is completing an autopsy. Officials note the investigation remains active and additional criminal charges may be filed. So we will keep you updated as we get any new information. Some of you chiming in here on some of the stories we're covering on TikTok and YouTube. As always, you're part of the conversation, so let us know if you want to see something covered and I'll look into it for you. Josh, you're mentioning you thought the flock camera could track tags. flags. And you would be correct, assuming you're speaking about the story of the missing girl. At this point, if she lives in a rural area or went missing from a rural area, not sure how many flock cameras are there, but no doubt police should be looking into the various flock camera systems around the area. If she comes into a more metropolitan area like Atlanta, no doubt her license plate will be flagged. So we'll keep you updated as we get any new details in this situation. Let's talk about, speaking of flock cameras, Josh bringing up this topic for us. Atlanta police are now going to be doing their own audit to see how their officers may have used the flock camera system. The Atlanta Police Department says they're conducting this audit in order to figure out whether any employees have improperly accessed or misused the flock license plate reader system. APD says that the use of the technology, it's reviewing the use of the technology, and they're trying to figure out whether officers or other employees access the system for personal reasons. Now, Flock's automated license plate reader technology uses cameras to capture information about passing vehicles, including license plates. The system can be used by law enforcement agencies to search for vehicles and track where particular license plates have been detected. But we understand, we've been doing a lot of reporting on how more than a dozen law enforcement officers around Georgia have either been arrested or fired from their roles for allegedly illegally accessing the Flock system. So APD says that APD has not said whether they've identified any employees suspected of improper use, or they've not shared how long they expect this audit to take, but they are doing this to make sure that the technology is being used appropriately. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, taking a look at our timing here, we're going to check in with Doug Evans in just a little bit. I want to talk about a story he is covering regarding Tiffany Haddish appearing in court today in regards to her DUI trial. And we understand that she has taken a plea deal. So we will check in with Doug here in just a little bit as he gets ready. But I want to let you guys know where we're headed. In the meantime, let's talk about the latest numbers regarding SNAP here in Georgia, because new data from the USDA shows about 500,000 fewer Georgians are now receiving SNAP benefits this year compared to last year. 5.3 million fewer nationwide actually are now receiving SNAP benefits. New work requirements were implemented for SNAP on February 1st, and people who receive the benefits have to work, volunteer, or participate in job training for at least 80 hours a month. Previously, some adults with children were exempt, and there were also exemptions for homeless people, veterans, and young adults aging out of foster care. All of those exemptions have now been taken away. The Congressional Budget Office predicts it will cut $186 billion in SNAP funding over the next 10 years. So we will keep you updated as that moves forward. I do want to let you know as well that as we've seen this here, it's not just some of the states that have been mostly affected by this, include Florida, Georgia, and Louisiana. They have seen over 20% decline in SNAP enrollments. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, taking a look at our timing, we're going to have more news for you coming up here in just a little bit. I want to check in with our Doug Evans. Also check in on your weather forecast. If you're hearing some thunder and lightning where you're at, there are some storms here in North Georgia, and it is contributing to this heat index that we are seeing in the days ahead. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live with us. We're going to get a check of your weather forecast with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy here in the minutes ahead. But first, I want to start with our Doug Evans, who's been in the courtroom for what was supposed to be a trial, but now turned into a plea deal, I understand, Doug, involving Tiffany Haddish, actress, comedian, and her DUI case. What can you share with us?
Well, if you came to this hearing for entertainment value, you didn't leave disappointed. Tiffany Haddish was Tiffany Haddish. She was not to be contained or curtailed in her comments to the court. She did appear on Zoom. I don't know where she was exactly. One of her attorneys is in Atlanta, Drew Feindling. Her other attorney, I believe, is out in California. And that might have been where Tiffany Haddish was today for this hearing on Zoom. She had the courtroom in stitches at times. This is a very serious matter, of course, DUI. But I tell you what, I think when it came time to be serious, she was serious, especially when they were reading the plea agreement and also the charges against her. I picked out some of the lighter moments to show you, though, in a little bit of a clip of Tiffany Haddish in court today.
Are you going to freely and voluntarily give up those rights to enter into a plea that your lawyers have negotiated on your behalf?
I would like to fuss a little bit, but in order to get out of your hair, because it's been 4 years, and I'd love to take my hair off, I'm going to go ahead and just agree.
All right. It's my understanding that you are going to plead guilty to count 1, driving under the influence of less safe alcohol, and the other charge are going to be dropped. Is that your understanding, Ms. Haddish?
Yes.
Again,
and I have some questions.
Then here's what I'm going to do. I can create.
I have some questions. Drew answered them as best as he could, and I trust Drew, and I trust Marissa. So
no problem.
They said you know, on your business, so I believe them.
Okay. Do you need more time to talk to Mr. Feindling or Ms. Goldberg?
I want to talk to you, but here we talking, and yeah.
Do you need more time to talk to Mr. Feindling and Ms. Goldberg?
No.
Okay. Are you prepared?
That's too expensive. I've already spent so much on this case. It's been 4 years.
Are you prepared?
Let's just move forward. Unless you like me, and then I don't mind.
Are you prepared to go forward with the plea today, Ms. Haddish?
Yes.
All right.
Because I know you're tired of me.
I appreciate that. Ms. Haddish, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much, and you have the platform to do a lot of good, and you've been doing good. I hope you continue to do that, and I'll continue to look for seeing you in the movies because my kids love watching your movies. All right? Ms. Haddish,
okay.
Have a great day, and you're welcome back to Georgia anytime. Y'all have a good day.
No, I'm not coming back. I don't want to come back. No, I'm going to Georgia.
Have a good day.
No more.
Thank you very much.
So you saw there at the end Tiffany Haddish about to go on a rant about ever coming back to Georgia. The courtroom feed was then shut off, cutting her off in mid-sentence, and that's why the courtroom erupted in laughter, even Judge Jason Thompson laughing as well. But I said this was a serious matter, DUI. It's the proper name for the charge is DUI less safe, alcohol, meaning that she was impaired, but she had not reached the legal limit of impairment, as you see in most cases that requires like a breathalyzer test or that sort of thing. She was impaired. She failed a field sobriety test where she was asked to walk, asked to stand on one leg, and could not do that, and has pled guilty to that. So here's what she gets. She gets 12 months on probation. She must submit to drug and alcohol tests. Can't have any of that for 12 months. She must also do 40 hours of community service, which she says she's already started on. She plans to work with the LA County District Attorney's Office on some kind of project there. She also has a foundation. She also does a lot to help foster kids, so plenty of opportunities for her to do good in her community. So that's basically it. And so there were some lighter moments, but also some very serious moments as well. This case has been on the dockets in Fayette County for 4 years. You heard her elaborate on that. She said, I think you want me out of your hair. I think they very much do want her out of their hair here in Fayette County. They're not used to having these cases linger so long on the dockets here in this courthouse.
Doug, I can imagine they'd want to say, listen, let's get this resolved, let's move on. And now it sounds like Tiffany Haddish can as well. I understand it had been delayed quite some time. And yesterday you were speaking a little bit about the reasons for those delays. But thanks for joining us live, giving us an overview of the case, where things stand. And Doug, we appreciate you, and we'll see you again later this evening with the latest information. That's Doug Evans reporting live for us, you guys, as we continue here at 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock now, losing track of my hours. Let's talk about a mother who was scheduled to appear for a hearing today regarding the death of her child who died in a hot car. Our Ray Reina just wrapped up a news conference where advocates and Deja Coleman's attorneys were present, speaking about how this situation and the charges she's facing don't ultimately bring back her son. Ray, what are you learning, and what can you share with us this afternoon?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning, Ariel, because this all started because Deja Coleman was in court here at the Gwinnett County Jail for a preliminary hearing. That hearing started about 15 minutes late because the attorney had to go talk to his client prior to the hearing. But the judge says that the purpose of this hearing was for a committal hearing, which she says was a hearing to test probable cause standard, which she says is lower than what the state needs to meet if this case ever goes to trial, and that the worst case scenario is that the matter heads to Superior Court, and the judge said that the court was without jurisdiction to consider bond during this preliminary hearing. The attorney here, Tom Ford, did try and get her a bond. He says that Deja Coleman's son, his funeral is scheduled for this weekend, so he was trying to get some of the charges dismissed and then have the state re-indict his client afterwards, so his client would be able to attend her son's funeral. And the state says that this was not the right time to discuss that. They wanted to discuss this off the record and not during the hearing. And because the judge, the defense was not able to call their witnesses, who we did hear during the press conference, Dr. David Diamond, who's a professor at the University of South Florida in the Tampa area, because they were not able to call witnesses, the attorney here, Tom Ford, decided to waive the hearing altogether. So now, in terms of her case, in terms of Deja Coleman's case, her case is now heading to Superior Court in Gwinnett County. And Tom Ford, the attorney, says he's going to try and get a bond hearing for his client in Superior Court before Saturday, which is when her son's funeral is scheduled. But you heard some of his comments in this news conference. If you were watching at 2 o'clock, he has reiterated since the beginning that this was a mistake, a tragic mistake, and that a mother should not be behind bars charged with murder because of one mistake. And he was joined today by Dr. David Diamond of USF, who I previously mentioned. He is according to Ford, one of the top researchers in neurology, the study of the brain. And he says that the frontal cortex of the brain, that could get suppressed by sleep deprivation and stress. He called the brain a magnificent but flawed machine, and he says that this happened because of a flaw in human brain kind of anatomy. He got very scientific when it comes to that, but he says that this happens, that parents can forget what happened to their kids, leave their kids in a hot car because of their autopilot system, because it overrides it, because something happens, whether it be sleep deprivation, a combination of that and stress, that can overwhelm the parent and cause them to forget that they do have a child. Ford also went on the attack for federal legislators and the auto industry, saying that they're not doing enough to help protect children who are in the backs of cars. He says that it costs maybe $50 to install a system that could work on that, and he claims that the auto industry has not, and legislators have not pushed forward on that. There was a lot that was talked about in this news conference, but the overwhelming argument is, from their side, at least the defense's side, is that Deja Coleman, though she made a tragic mistake, the attorney says that she already has a life sentence, a life without her son, and now she has 2 children at home who she's not able to care for because she's sitting in jail. So the attorney over the next few days says he's going to try and get a bond for her so she's able to grieve her son while her case moves forward. But in the meantime, he says he's going to also be pressuring lawmakers in Washington, D.C. to try and step up their efforts to make cars safer, to help prevent future car deaths. And that's kind of how supporters and her family of Deja Coleman have kind of talked about this press conference. They want to use this death as a catalyst to help prevent future children from dying from hard car deaths. But in the meantime, Deja Coleman, she's still, her bond is still denied. She's still here at the Gwinnett County Jail, and hopefully Ford says that he will have a bond hearing for her scheduled in Superior Court by this weekend, Ariel.
Ray, no matter how you look at this situation, it is absolutely heartbreaking. And I do find it interesting that in our current day and age, there isn't an alarm in the back of a car to help alert you to a pet, a child, whatever it may be. If it could help save someone's life, why not do it? So interesting to see what cases like this are going to spur on a legislative level, what change that this might enact. No matter, we'll stay tuned to you for the latest here this evening as you continue to follow this array. Lorena, thanks so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, really quickly, you guys, I do want to let you know that jury selection is underway in the killing trial of Tupac Shakur. So you understand, if you're unfamiliar, you understand that this rap icon was killed in 1996, and now jury selection has started in Las Vegas for the man accusing to help kill him. Duane Keffe D. Davis has allegedly helped plan the shooting, but was not the one who pulled the trigger. He's been in jail since 2023. Shakur's long unsolved murder has captivated hip-hop fans for decades. In 1996, he was shot multiple times during a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas on his way to perform at a club. He died 6 days later at just 25 years old. The investigation was cold until Davis started making public statements about the shooting and published a tell-all memoir saying he was a rival gang's leader who was reportedly seeking revenge. In an interview with our Fox affiliate in Las Vegas, Davis said there was no rivalry with Shakur. Prosecutors hope to prove Davis helped orchestrate the murder, however, and provided the weapon. The trial is expected to last up to 5 weeks, and the witness list for the prosecution is long. We will see ultimately how many of those witnesses they call to the stand. I also want to let you know, speaking of trials, that Luigi Mangione appeared back in court in New York City for a pretrial conference today. The hearing is coming less than a month before his murder trial is set to get underway. He's accused of shooting and killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York back in December of 2024. Now, during Tuesday's hearing, the judge announced that jury selection in the case will begin this September 8th and that the jury will remain anonymous. Mangione faces murder charges in separate state and federal trials related to Thompson's murder. He also faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted in the state murder case. The federal trial is scheduled to begin January 5th, and Mangione has pled guilty to all charges, so we will keep you updated there. In the meantime, I'd like to bring you back out live here to the Fox 5 newsroom, where we've got meteorologist Jonathan Stacy tracking some storms. Jonathan, I have absolutely heard the thunder here this afternoon.
There's absolutely no way you can't hear it because it's loud, rambunctious, and disruptive as we go through this Tuesday afternoon. And there have been a few updates, so let's go ahead and put the maps up on this very stormy Tuesday afternoon. And I think the storms will stick around to the top of the evening here. So you can see in some parts of the metro, you're dry, but for the majority of us, we're dealing with some pretty impressive downpours. Some of that energy just rolled through DeKalb County. Ariel mentioning that, and you can see obviously that the lightning is pretty robust there. But then there's some meaner energy wedged between 75 and I-20 to the south and to the east of the city. So for those of you in Henry County, southern Rockdale, Newton County, even getting into Covington, these storms are off the chain. Now, at this moment, none of these storms are severe warned. These are not severe thunderstorms at the moment. However, you need to keep your alerts on and stay weather aware over the next 3-hour period, because there is the opportunity that some of these storms may want to turn a bit meaner in energy and give way to some robust wind gusts that could be topping some 60 miles an hour. And we know that the ground is saturated and the winds are up. And with those winds being so high, trees can come down in the blink of an eye. So between I-85 going to the east and I-75 going to the west, as you look down in southern Clayton County from Jonesboro into North Fayette County, Fayetteville and Tyrone, along with those of you who are in the south and westernmost parts of Henry County, get ready for some pretty strong storms that are going to make their way down US 19 into Lovejoy and eventually rolling over the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Over in Coweta County between Noonan and Moreland along I-85, Grantville, you're getting a break right now, but once again, Noonan, I think those storms are going to fester, especially to the south of town. It got some energy in South Meriwether County, the same with central and westernmost Thomaston in Upson County. And then up north, the models really kind of honed in on this yesterday, that you would not get so much activity during the late afternoon, but yours would likely come in the evening. So from where is it going to come? Well, it's going to come from the west. And you can see here that there are not only robust storms out just to the west of the Alabama state line, but here's the deal. They're not moving as fast as we like. And we already know this. There is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. And so these are some big dumpers. So there is a flash flood warning in effect just across state lines there in Cherokee County, Alabama. I would not be surprised if we had some here as we go deeper into the next 3-hour period. I will say this, at last check, the ground stop at ATL continues until 4:30. So that is delaying all flights if they haven't gotten off the ground from leaving their respective locations to traveling to ATL for the next hour at this point.
Okay, good to know, Jonathan. Yeah, I would imagine with that ground stop, people are going to have some headaches, especially taking a look at what we're seeing here.
A friend of mine is sitting on the tarmac right now in Charlotte, and that's one of the airports that is caught up in this, and they are just sitting there, and they told them the pilot said 45 minutes. I got here, looked at some data, and was like, that was more like 90 minutes then, still an hour at this point.
Oh, my goodness.
So if you're at the airport, got interest in the airport, friends at the airport.
Yeah. Pack your patience. I hate saying that because it's such a cliche, but I feel like it applies in this situation.
Mine is not packable.
No, that's an excellent point. Sometimes it just cannot be packed.
It's not packed.
Jonathan, thank you. We will see you again here later on at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to zoom in and let Jonathan off the hook here as he goes and prepares for his next live hour. Let's continue because I want to talk about an elderly woman who was hurt in a double shooting. We understand she was an innocent bystander, and our Annie Mapp has been digging into the story and joins us live. Annie, I know it's raining outside, so thanks for joining us live from your car with the latest information. What can you share?
Ariel, this all went down Monday evening just before 4 o'clock. Atlanta police say they received a call that shots were fired. This was in the neighborhood of Browns Mill Road Southeast and Lindsay Drive here in Atlanta. They say they got to the scene and found an 85-year-old woman who had sustained gunshot wounds. And at a street not far by from where they located her, they also located a 21-year-old unidentified man who had also been shot as well. Both victims were taken to area hospitals where they received treatment. I was able to speak to the family of the 85-year-old. They tell me that she had to have surgery and is here recovering at Grady Memorial Hospital. They say thankfully she is in good spirits despite what all happened, but they are heartbroken because they say this is someone who is a pillar of that neighborhood. She's been there for several years. She's known as an auntie and always opens her doors to anybody, so they're not sure why something like this would happen to her. Now, Atlanta police did say she was an innocent bystander, so it's very heartbreaking for this family. Take a listen to what her nephew told me earlier.
She's strong. She not a quitter. She up talking. You know what I'm saying? She a little groggy probably from the medicine, but other than that, she her old self. But it just basically like the gun violence need to stop.
And police are looking for whoever shot this 85-year-old woman and that 21-year-old man. They haven't arrested anyone as of yet and haven't named any potential suspects, but there's a lot of questions on who could possibly be behind this aerial. We know this 85-year-old woman was just sitting on her porch when she was hit by this gunfire, so it was all very unexpected and has really, you know, shaken up this family.
Annie, a horrible situation to just be sitting on your porch and all of a sudden, you know, you not only hear gunfire, but it hits you. So sending a lot of strong thoughts to her family and hoping that she is okay and all of this and that police are able to catch who's responsible. So Annie, thanks so much for joining us live. I'll let you get back to information gathering and I know we'll see you again later this evening. As we continue here at 3 o'clock, you guys, coming up next, I want to check in with our Maria Guzman about a program that's helping kids as they need support from people in their community. It's helping to bring them together, especially as they don't live with their immediate parents. Maybe they have a difficult family situation and have to live with a relative, a grandparent. And so there's a new program that's really grown here in Atlanta. Maria will introduce us to Kann coming up. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here. Let's talk about a program that has really grown here in Atlanta, and it's helping kids build community as they might not be able to find it from their immediate family. Our Maria Guzman is joining us live. Maria, tell us a little bit more about Kann.
Hey Ariel, you know what's really special about Kann is that it's not only just a space for high school students to come in and share their stories, right? Share what they're going through, especially if they're being raised by a relative. Families can also come here and get any help they need because the big goal here is to keep families together. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera to introduce you guys to Ebony, who works very closely with the families and really gets to know them and the crises that they are walking through, and also talking to us about the other services that they also provide. So So nice in chatting with you and learning about the work you guys are doing. Walk me through the closet you have behind, because I think it's really neat that you guys help families and equip them with things that they might need.
So here we have clothes from size 0 to size 14, boys and girls. So we let our families come in and get clothes, socks, underwear, shoes, and everything for their kids or grandkids, because we do support relatives and family members and with kids that are in kinship care. So yeah, then we have girl clothes and boy clothes and everything that they need. We even offer basic hygiene products, soap, body wash, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, so a little bit of everything that they daily need.
Even diapers, I also saw, which is really neat. You know, as you talk to the families as they're walking through some crises, what do they tell you? What are the stories that they are experiencing?
Just hardship. Everything is hard, from food, from clothing, from basic need products, bills, rent, everything. They need everything.
I know the high school students that come here, each story is different. They might be raised by an auntie or an uncle. Who would you say are a lot of the people that are raising them?
A lot of grandparents are raising their grandchildren, and we also have aunts and uncles that have their nieces and nephews. So I would say family members. Family members.
You guys just opened your doors here at Kinship not too long ago, and you're already needing more space because you're growing. Talk to me about the need you see in Cobb County.
Cobb County, it's a huge need. It's a huge need. A lot of families are struggling. A lot of families are having a very hard time, not necessarily because they're not working. These are hard-working, strong families, and they're just needing help sometimes.
How special is it for the high school students to come here, know that they can really just open up and be themselves here?
It's very special. I actually had a chance to help them with camp, and I was there, and they just love being in a safe space. They love being together. They are able to relate to other kids that's there, and they all love each other, and they actually all become friends, and so it's a safe space for them, and they love being together, and having a safe place for them is the most important.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And tomorrow they're going to be having actually an orientation for mentors who want to help. And so if you want to learn more, you're able to visit together-families.org as well.
Maria, what a wonderful way for our community to support. I have someone here on TikTok, Marie Bella J, asking how people can gain access to this place, and I would understand the website might be the best bet. Can you read it off for us just one more time for those who are watching?
So it's together-families.org. And I also have a number available to share, and that's going to be 1-470-230-6352 for any families that are watching and need some help or want to help as well.
Awesome. Maria, thanks so much for joining us live, letting us know about this resource in our community. I'll let you get back to it. We'll see you again later this evening. As we continue here at 3 o'clock, you guys, let's talk about something happening here in Atlanta. MARTA has officially narrowed their search for CEO down to 3 finalists. You may remember that MARTA has been searching for a permanent general manager and CEO, and this week they've narrowed their search. The finalists are interim MARTA CEO Jonathan Hunt, Cleveland Ferguson III of Jacksonville Transportation Authority, and Leroy Jones of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. MARTA's board has interviewed all 3 candidates as it's trying to fill this top leadership position. The board is expected to make its selection and name a permanent general manager and CEO during its meeting Thursday. So we will keep you updated on that, because this is an important role, as this person would oversee the leadership of Atlanta's largest public transit system bus and rail operations for MARTA, as well as the agency's ongoing projects and plans for any future expansion. Jonathan Hunt has served as the interim general manager and CEO ever since former CEO Collie Greenwood departed due to immigration and personal matters. Let's talk about what's happening at Atlantic Station, because in case you haven't heard, a new company is now taking ownership of Atlantic Station. And they're asking the community to help shape the future of this development here in Midtown Atlanta. Trademark Property Company has assumed management of this 138-acre mixed-use retail district. If you've been to Atlantic Station, you know it includes shops, restaurants, entertainment, offices, and residences. The company has more than 30 years of experience developing, investing, and managing mixed-use communities across the country. And Trademark CEO says the company is trying to evaluate Atlantic Station's existing strengths and looking for opportunities to take it to the next level. You might remember that Atlantic Station has been somewhat troubled, just in the sense that a lot of businesses have dealt with some teen takeover type events, or just events with a lot of unruly young people. They've tried to make sure that things are safe. They've instituted curfews to try to keep things enjoyable for those who live and work around the area. So we'll keep you updated as this company takes over and any new plans that they may have for the future. Coming up next, you guys, we're going to take you out to Roswell, where I want to introduce you to a studio for content creators. Our Chris Rosenthal's giving us the tour as the content creator economy continues to grow. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being live with us here at 2 o'clock. Excuse me, 3 o'clock. Always losing track of my hours. It's been a little bit. Let's talk about content creators, something that could affect you if you have a YouTube account. One major platform is announcing some big changes to its monetization rules. YouTube specifically has revealed its updated rules for monetization through its YouTube Partner Program. And if you aren't familiar with this, it basically allows creators to earn money from things like ad revenue. Beginning February 1st, 2027, content creators must have at least 1,000 subscribers and either 8,000 qualified watch hours over the past year or 20 million qualified shorts views in the past 90 days to qualify for YouTube's creator program. This is a drastic change from the current requirements. And I understand we actually probably have some video of this from our 2 o'clock streaming hour if we want to bring that in and show it as I'm talking through this situation here with you guys. So this is a drastic change from the current requirements, which demand content creators have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, or 10 million shorts views in the same time frames. So basically, YouTube's requiring creators to be able to produce a lot more and have a lot more of those earned views in order to be part of the program. The company also says a creator will be removed from the program if they don't upload content for at least 6 months. YouTube says it's expanding its premium light subscription to more countries, which should help content creators reach new numbers. The company pulls in around 2.7 billion users each month, which is pretty incredible. So speaking of the creator economy, let's get out to Roswell, where our Chris Rosenthal's introducing us to a film studio to help content creators up their game. Chris, this is really incredible that all of this stuff is put together just for people to be able to film or create their own stories.
Yeah, you said I'm in Roswell, but I'm actually here in the Oval Office here, and here at actually at U42 Studios. I am in Roswell here, where they have a whole bunch of these spaces here. They've got everything from a jail to bodegas to restaurants, actually real functioning restaurants. I mean, look at that, even the street lights here, all indoors here off Alpharetta Highway in Roswell here at U42 Studios. And I've got the president here, Ashley, and so give me a little bit of a tour. Tell me about this space and tell me why create this.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we call this a content creation complex, and honestly we have 14 different micro studios, all have a set to them that lets content creators of any type, whether it be a videographer, a social media content creator, allows them to create content however they see fit.
Yeah, and podcast studios and all kinds of sets. This really kind of makes it more accessible for the for a content creator who needs a set and maybe can't afford a big Hollywood set. Huh?
Absolutely, yes. And and that's the thing. We wanted to create a place where they could have a sense of community and honestly talk about what they want to do and how they do it and what they're good at and learn from everybody else. So that's what the Creative Hub over there is about. It's about almost like a WeWork for content creators. So they can come in there and have, like tomorrow we have a cohort where, we have 50 to 100 people that come in and talk about, how they create content and why they do it. So
yeah, and you'll help people with the content too, as far as editing and everything that goes along with it. Huh?
Absolutely, we've got the cameras, we've got the mics, we've got the lights. If you don't have it, we've got it for you.
And they got podcast studios. They got even country bar here.
Yeah, this is Big Shots. It's a country bar. Tonight we have line dancing. Absolutely, you come in, you can take a hat when you leave. It gives you a little bit of a memento to
because it's
remember.
Because you also do event spaces. And
yes, we have a theater at one end. We've got an event space down at the other. We do everything from comedy. We've got Drew Thomas on Thursday. And we've got we do music. We do a little bit of everything in the theater. We've got the event space where we do. We'll be having we'll be doing a Halloween haunted house. We'll also be doing a Holly Jolly Christmas marketplace in December. And in September, we're actually doing, on the outside of the studio, we'll be doing a bourbon, barbecue, and bluegrass festival that'll be free to the public.
Yeah, I love how you've incorporated, real elements like, for example, this movie theater. There actually is space in there. You can go watch a screening. Yep. And, these are restaurants. These can be used as sets, but they're actually real restaurants.
Absolutely, yes. We'll be shooting a reality show in there as well. Our chef, Katsuji Tanabe, was on Top Chef, Tour of Champions. So, he allows us that entry into the kind of culinary aspect of creating content.
So, this is open as a real restaurant from 5 to 10.
Yep, they're getting ready for service right now.
But then during the day, people come in here and can shoot films.
Absolutely. We shot a small film in here last night and yesterday. There was a little bit about a scary concept that some content creators kind of came up with.
And this is a real working pizza?
This is a real working pizza oven. And we kind of had that throwback to, in respect to Pizza Hut, with their glass lights like they have in their restaurants.
And again, can be used as a set as well. People do use it as a set. I mean, what do you see as the big demand here. I mean, this is a over $400 billion a year industry,
Yep.
Estimated in 2027. I mean, really a big demand for content creators here.
1,000%. I mean, we're busy every day with something new, whether it's in the street shooting a music video or, in one of our podcast spaces shooting content for podcasts.
Yeah.
And a little bit of everything in between.
Yeah, I mean, it's even a game show set
Yep.
here. There's,
Absolutely.
and you guys can configure these things with props that you guys have.
Yes, and we'll change them out. We've got 3 different studios right now that are just blank spaces that we can turn into anything that is needed, whether that be a classroom or hospital set, whatever it needs to be.
Absolutely. Well, anyways, guys, it's really, really cool here at U42 Studios in Roswell. Just a really innovative place here for for content creators to come film their scenes, but also you don't have to be a content creator. You can come here, come to the restaurants, and then maybe get your picture taken in front of the jail or the Oval Office or any of these scenes here as well. So
absolutely,
a lot going on here.
This is really incredible, Chris, just to think that the creator economy has led to these lifelike settings for people to come and capture their content. And it's done in a way where maybe you're not disturbing the larger public, but you need to get that video. So this is really neat. Someone here in our TikTok chat asking where this is. This is in Roswell, and it is U42 Studios. So you can go out there and check it out. Chris, thanks so much. As we continue here at 3 o'clock, let's check in with our Eli Jordan. He went out to a safety expo where industry leaders at Atlanta's airport are able to explore new ways to keep passengers and employees safe. This happened at the Georgia Convention Center and Georgia International Convention Center, and brought together a lot of different employees, industry leaders, and experts. And Eli, I understand you were able to catch up with one specific group.
Oh, yeah. Hey, good afternoon, Ariel. Yeah, and pardon me, I'm in the car. We had a nice little storm rolling through here, still trying to brew up some electricity. But yes, here at the 10th Annual Operations Safety, Security, and Risk Expo here at the International Georgia Convention Center, and it's in College Park, and it's right next to the airport. And there's a lot of booths out here, basically, introducing, making employees, the tens of thousands of employees at the airport, familiar with their stakeholders, their contractors that work there, and so that to better resolve any situations that might come up, in the future. And one of those people was one of those groups was the Airside Operations Division with drones, and I've got a little video of the drone operations going on. Now, the drone department is really new at the airport, and of course, flying an airport with a drone, you got to take lots and lots of precautions, but it's a very useful tool to be able to go check out some, something out on the tarmac that you can't quite get out there real quick or anything. They have high resolution, optics on it to be able to take photos and analyze it, compare it to, later dates and things like that. But I spoke to Darren Barth, who is the director of Airside Operations. Here's what he had to say.
Our normal job during the day is inspecting the airfield, and this just gives us another way, another perspective to see the airfield, to see any hazards that might be out there, to track changes over time, to document construction projects. We do regular documentation of construction projects, and we can show the change over time and the progress on each of those. We can map things like our pavement, very high resolution mapping, so we can see the condition of the pavement, we can see the conditions of the markings on the airfield and rubber buildup and things of that nature. There's a lot of safeguards in place, and certainly there's a lot of approvals that we need to get through the FAA to do that, but we do have an agreement with the FAA, and we regularly fly probably several times a week under that agreement. Of course, the tower has the opportunity to approve or deny the request, but in the areas that we've designated, we make sure that we've got a safety buffer built in.
And drones are relatively new to the scene. How long have you guys had this drone out here now?
So we've been flying drones at Hartsfield since 2024, the beginning of 2024, so about 2.5 years now.
And so are you guys looking to expand? Are there job opportunities, or just tell me about the department, I guess?
One of the great things about what we've done over the last couple of years is we've been given the opportunity to explore what we can do with drones and the best use cases. So what we've been doing is trying a number of different things, seeing what we want to prioritize. For us, this is not a full-time job. It's in addition to our normal daily duties.
And that's, that's addition to the normal daily duties, but it sounds like a really cool part-time job. But also, in addition to the drones, they had CPR training. OSHA was out here speaking to employees, and you had Centos out here with the first aid kits. Lots going on here at the International Convention Center with the 10th Annual Operation Safety, Security, and Risk Expo. Ariel, back to you.
Eli, thanks for giving us an overview, introducing us to the efforts at the Atlanta airport, little things we may not realize that help keep us safe and travel a little bit easier. So, Eli, thank you. As we continue here, you guys, I am Ariel Onstadt. The News at 4 is just about to begin. Thanks so much for being live with me this afternoon. More news to come.